The Dutcher.
Oh, and it switched to, just wait, I'm here. No, unlock the scene. Give me a sec, everybody. Hi. Of course. I was playing around with it. Anyway, hello, everyone. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Face, card making space, interns in the corner. Blah, blah. Welcome to the chaos. Literally. I was mucking around the other day with my software and figured out how to do like a split screen, all that stuff, and then that's why I broke everything else in the process, like I always do. Whatever. Well, welcome to the chaos. Welcome to the chaos. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Okay. And yes, there's no sound during the intro. I am not even going to mess yet with figuring out how to add music to that little countdown.
We will eventually.
Yeah, someday, because I know when I do that, I'll manage to break in other things. So we sit in silence and you can stare at my freaking face for that 1 minute. Whatever. I will eventually figure out something else. But for now, that's it. I don't know, I'm like nervous. We're going to do BetterPress today. There's always substitutions. You can just stamp images, whatever. I haven't done BetterPress in a hot minute. In fact, since the last live, which was like 3 months ago. It was months ago. And yeah, I had 5 million other things I wanted to do today, and my brain was just like all over the place. BetterPress won because I was like, oh, I haven't played with this in a while. So, someday we'll have chaos music. Yeah, that. I will eventually add music to the little countdown. It's just figuring out how to do the split screen thing. I don't even want to admit how long it took me to get that set up. I'll show you guys. It's amazing. It's this. Look at that. I'm a genius. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So that was the new thing I figured out. And in the process, I like broke other stuff. So whatever. Hello to my peoples. And if it wasn't for the chaos, how would we know that our circulation was really working? Truth. Yes. I'm literally like, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. But we're going to have fun. Housekeeping. There are many things going on in the description box below this video, regardless of whether you're watching live or on the replay. There's like sales going on. What is today? Today's the 2nd? Yes. There is a site-wide sale at Simon Says Stamp going on that ends tonight. I have that code listed below. There is a distress ink oxide, that info, that sailed, and that is a code for those. That goes on this entire month. Yeah, because they're celebrating with Tim Holtz because it's 20 years of distress, which is pretty impressive. And then, what else? Those are the two main ones. And then I do have a link to the sale category because there's a few good ones in there. And what else? Yeah, and then the supplies. The supplies, as always, I've already kind of mentally figured out. We'll see what happens, what we're going to make today. So I've linked all the supplies. Those are below as well, so you can expand the description box. I also post it for those watching in the live chat. Visual supply list, you can click on that. It opens in another window, and it just, blah, 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 housekeeping. So I think that's it. Oh, and then last but not least, those that are watching live, the form to fill out, it's in amongst, the chaos, because there's a lot going on in the description box. And the unpaid intern will post it in the chat as well. You can enter your name and address, because we'll give away the cards. I did mail out the last batch, and I posted the picture on Facebook to prove it. So I mailed out the last 3 lives worth, yes, of cards. So that's fun. Anyway, okay. I guess you might not be an IT guru, but you're definitely a card crafting guru. Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm kind of sometimes an IT guru with this stuff, but like I said, I figure something out. I'm a total genius, and then I break literally everything in the process. And I have an IT guru sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
Literally. And even he half the time is like, what?
What does IT mean again?
Did you turn it off and turn it on again? That's what it means. So, okay. I think we're good. So yes, BetterPress. Let's go like this. So, not everybody has a BetterPress. I get that. You know, I haven't even used mine very much. I love it. I've been collecting plates for it like a crazy person. That's also why we're using it today. Cause use some of the stuff. But what other than the BetterPress portion, the rest of like the coloring, etc., you can do this. You can stamp an image and then watercolor it. You know, do what works for you. But I wanted to play with this again because it's fun, it's satisfying, and it's pretty much idiot proof, which that is the other thing I posted in the description box below. I was doing that earlier, my playlist. I thought I had done more videos using BetterPress stuff, but no, I've just been collecting it for the last year. So there's only 3 videos on that playlist, but my very first video, I did it live last year, unboxing this and using it for the first time on camera, live, and we did it. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. So yeah, that's where we're at. Okay. And yes, okay, do you have to use specific inks for it? So this is because we're gonna kind of like do a little bit of info, whatever, for those that are new. Do you have to use specific inks? One, with the BetterPress, which all the other things I'm using are in stock as of doing this. The actual little platform setup isn't. But I had already planned everything, so I was like, darn it. When getting this little system, it comes with an ink. And then they have many other colors. And this ink is literally unique. It is unique to BetterPress. They Spellbinders, and they've done videos on it, and other makers have, and I've explained it too. But Spellbinders had Ranger formulate that for them for the BetterPress, so it is unique. It's similar to Archival ink, but Ranger has changed it a bit, and it's more, I don't want to say sticky, but it is more viscous than even Archival ink. And if you've ever worked with Archival ink, show of hands, if you've ever worked with Archival ink from Ranger, you know what I mean. That stuff is like permanent ink. It's awesome. It works great. It's just, it's fun to play with. This is similar, but also a little bit like, but you can use other inks. And I'm going to use my plates on the inside of the cards as well. And I've shown it with other inks too. You can also use different papers. I thought while we're doing this, I'm going to use the Spellbinders paper. This is meant for their BetterPress. This is cotton card panels. This is what I would call high quality cotton paper, like similar to high quality watercolor paper. The good stuff is not cheap, right? Paper matters. However, with the BetterPress, you do get a few like samples. I've also shown with other papers. Other makers have experimented with other papers. You can kind of use different things. It's fun to play with. So we'll use a BetterPress, and we'll also use, nope, I grabbed the wrong watercolor paper. Where's my Canson? Where did it go? This is my Strathmore. Man, I told you, I'm professional. I'm so organized. I don't even know where my stuff is. Did I? Cool. Why do I have Strathmore everywhere? Where's my Canson? Oh, I'll keep this. I did it again. This stuff. I don't know where it went. Whatever. I'll find it later. My Canson XL watercolor, like the little pack, likes to like walk away constantly. And I'll find it in a really stupid spot again. It's actually probably on the floor. Whatever. Anyway, thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it for Starbucks. Thank you. Okay. Does the BetterPress work with the Big Shot, or does it work only with Spellbinders products? They have it. You could look that up on the Spellbinders site. They have done in-depth info. I'm going to use mine with my Platinum 6 because that's literally what works best, but it can work with other machines. It does not work with the Empress. I don't think it works with any electric machine. Maybe that Big Shot, is it the Big Shot Switch? Is that what it's called? Whatever that one is, it might. But that's on, if people don't have the specific Spellbinders die cut machine, which I'm going to pull out in a second, you got to look it up. and figure it out. So, yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. It's I don't know where. I have a pack of like pre-cut Canson, and now I literally don't know where it went. Okay, I'll find it somewhere. It's always somewhere stupid. So, it works though. And this is my go-to because the covers changed, like this stuff's old. But this watercolor paper, it's cheap. And I like it. So you guys have seen me use it a million times. So that works. The best results, and that's obviously why Spellbinders manufactured it and makes it, is the BetterPress cotton panels. And it comes in porcelain, whatever this one's called. I can't remember offhand, but there's like white, kind of off-white, which is like very similar to like regular watercolor paper. And then there's like that gray, I think it's Pebble. I actually really like the gray one. I was using it in my Halloween cards, and chef's kiss. Okay. Okay. It works with the switch. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Spellbinders has it on their site, like compatible machines, because people have been testing and doing their things. I have a Platinum 6 because that's one of my favorite manual machines. And yeah, let's just do some better pressing because we can. Oh, and then the other thing, the ink pads. This is going to be an exception, but until this even came out, they're purposely sized like this. They're little. The point was because it's a little easier to hold them and add your ink and not get ink everywhere because again, this ink is. However, then because as time has gone on and they're doing bigger and bigger plates, so I'm going to use this one. I'm still going to use the small ink pad. This is currently, I think, out of stock because it went on. They did release this, a big full size, which is nice for the big plates they've done. So, yeah, I did get my hands on it. And then they did also release just a big one that is blank because they've got like a ton of colors now. And the colors do all have reinkers, as does this one. And you can get like a blank big one if you have a specific color that's your favorite and add the ink to that, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, can you emboss with these? Technically, yes. I can't remember if I've shown that. I think I have. I've used it and like used a little embossing pad and run it through my die cut machine that way. You can hot foil with these. They hot foil. The BetterPress plates actually hot foil better than like Glimmer hot foil plates, in my opinion. But you cannot use hot foil plates in this because hot foil plates are thicker and you can ruin your machine. I also do not, because I get asked, can you use wafer dies? Because we can use our wafer dies to do like embossing, things like that with a rubber mat. Yes. But you do not want to put your die cut plates in here. I don't recommend that because again, you're putting it through and then this is going to go through with pressure. And you're not going to have that rubber mat that we use for embossing. So if you put a die cut plate in here, one, you're going to, the sharper edges of the die cut plate, you're trying to ink it up. It's just not the same. And so I don't recommend it, but you do you. So, okay. I think that covers a lot of it. And then, yeah, so this is what I'm using for the main sort of thing. This is the mirrored arch blooms. Isn't that pretty? That's just very pretty. And I've had it sitting here. I think I showed this when I did that haul video a couple months ago, whenever it was. Again, I don't remember. Whenever it was. I think I showed it then. And it's been sitting here. And I was like, how about we use it? So, yeah. That's what we're going to use. And then while I had it out, I also pulled out this, because I had this. This came out, I think, when they first released this, and then it was sold out forever. Back in. This is the Butterfly Swirl. This has the press plates and coordinating die set, which I love. So we might just do both of them. I might make 2 cards. I make no promises. We'll see. We'll see. So there's a lot more like info and stuff because like with the BetterPress, there's different pieces and then there's like little shims and things. We are not going to address any of that. We are just using it as is. That's it. Just as is. We're not going to muck around with this. So we've got one of them's called the Chase, one of them's called the Platin, the gray matte, and the clear topper. You know, there's terminology when it comes to letterpress. I forget, and I'm flustered. So we got our little plate. We're gonna, this is magnetic, by the way, so we can like kind of center it. It's got its markings. So we got A2 and A7 markings, a center point, and those are mirrored on the plate, the clear plate. So you get it right side up, A2 markings, A7 center point, because everything will line up just like so. So have your plate on there, and then boop, and we'll start with the actual like BetterPress cotton. This stuff is nice. It is nice. And even though I've got like schmutz on mine. Oh, I got splatter on it. I got gold splatter on mine. Whatever. Save that for a different project. Yeah. Having nice paper is nice, but I've literally like, I haven't even cut into this yet. Like I ordered backups and then I hoard it because it is nice. It's very nice. But we got this, and you can do one of two things. You can do the little Spellbinders tape. We can tape the little corners. You always want to make sure to place the tape, obviously, where the plate isn't. So we could tape the paper in place. Or, another thing, just to make life a little easier, is just to use like a tape runner. Because that works too. And then it'll eventually like start building up adhesive. And then I'll just use, because I've got like, in fact, I still have some on here from whatever project the last time I used it. But we center it, press it down, and then it's not going to go anywhere. So we did that. That's all you got to do. And then ink it up. So we're doing it. We're doing it. Okay. More gold splatter will take care of that. I know, right? I was thinking about adding splatter. Well, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's just do some pressing first, and then we'll go from there. So the other thing to remember, the easiest way to ink up these plates is you do like a tap and a twist. And again, I'll show it with other inks. I do recommend, if you're wanting to experiment with other types of ink, is making sure that it's an ink pad that is the standard felt ink pad with like the linen top, you know, because these are more firm. Because things like Simon's Positively Saturated, Concord and Ninths inks, any of those ones with that foam ink pad, you can do it. It will work. You just have to be even more careful, because those types of ink pads, if you're going like this, because they're soft, they're going to smush ink everywhere, and you don't want that. So you just do a little tap and spin, and you ink it up. And obviously with those really big plates, that's where the like bigger ink pad comes in, but the point of the smaller one was because it's easier to hold and it gets less ink all over the place, you know. Again, none of it's like the end of the world, but just trying to explain the reasoning behind the madness. Okay, looks like I got everything inked up. Boop boop boop, tappy tappy. Okay, so we got inked up. And then get your plate. It just connects on, there's magnets. And the thing is with this, there's a gap between this and that. Right? So, where's my trusty Platinum 6 machine? Got this little dude, and then we just run it through, and that's it. And the machine applies the pressure. You do not need to go back and forth. In fact, I don't recommend going back and forth with this. I need more space. Wah. Put that there for now. Okay. It's perfect. I wish you guys could see it. I don't know if I can. Like, one, it is perfect, but I wish you guys could see like the letterpress effect in real life. And like, I haven't done it in months. This is the first run through. Perfection. I think that's the like beauty of it. Um, Here we go. If you don't get a complete image, can you re-ink and run through again? Yes. One thing I will recommend, I haven't had that issue yet, but one thing I would recommend is maybe taking, because if you can see how it's got, there's just a little bit of give with this, is if you're experimenting, and especially if you're using like the good paper and you don't want to wreck it, is to take some tape and just, you know, kind of same idea as, you know, when we're using a stamp positioner and you want to get your paper like right in the corner in the exact same spot. Well, to do the same thing with this and take a bit of tape, you know, and hold it against whatever edge and tape it in place so that this is not going to move. Because that's the only thing you want to be aware of, is if I'm going to re-ink this, like say I did miss a spot, I want to re-ink this, and then you run it through and it's shifted slightly up or slightly down and then wrecks it. So if you do that, you know, that keeps it from moving and it keeps it in the same spot. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yana suggested taping the magnet. Yeah. Yana Smakula. She works for Spellbinders. She makes beautiful cards. Lots of tips and advice with her stuff. And yeah, like this is, I wish you guys could see it. It's so fun. So fun. So, because I used just that little tape runner, I just kind of zhuzh it a bit. And obviously, like, there's adhesive on the back of this. I don't care because that's the back. It's going to get adhered to the finished card front. So there's that one. Let's take a piece of this Canson XL. And this piece, I think, is bigger. I need to trim this down so it's a little... Actually, I don't care. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. So let's put a bit of adhesive on this. And then I'll just kind of lay it over the A2. This will give me a little more wiggle room, just like so. And then, wondering if we can ink them up with a small brayer. I mean, you can try. You'll waste a lot more ink doing that though. I'm just looking at this and it's like, you could get like good coverage, but you would have to, you know, because a brayer, even a little brayer, you know, like I have the little Tim Holtz one. And then cleaning off that brayer would be a nightmare. We'll get to the cleaning of the plates in a minute, but you can, in theory, it would work, but yeah. It's just, again, this ink is, it doesn't seem like it because it's a felt pad. You know, you're not seeing like the ink unless you have the reinkers, like what it's really like. But this stuff, like it's a strong ink is kind of the easiest way to describe it. So yeah. And yeah, you don't need to reef on it. And you don't want to like swipe. Because even though these edges, because this is not a die, it's a press plate, the edges, like the detail is not sharp, you know, even with a wafer die, they're not sharp per se. But if you're like scraping your ink pad across it, it will start, and just ink pads in general, like these felt topped ink pads, they do fray a little bit. That's just the nature of the product. So that we just boop. But you just do a little tap and twist. You don't need to like reef on it. If you find that you're not getting a lot of ink, you know, and you're like, you probably just need to re-ink the ink pad. That was the first thing when I purchased this. It came with the little baby ink pad, but I also purchased the black re-inker. I don't have re-inkers yet for the colors because I just haven't been using them, even though I bought them. But I eventually will get the re-inkers for the colors. But yeah, just a little tappy. little tap, little twist, and you're good. That's all you need. That's all you need. Okay. With a foam pad though in a brayer. Yeah. The more squishy ink pads like Simon's, etc., that would be worth playing around with. I would attempt that, you know, because you could use your squishy ink pads, ink them up with your brayer, and then go bloop, bloop, bloop. That actually might totally work. In fact, it might work really well. I could see that. So yeah, we got cardstock. This has been inked up. This time it's Canson XL. Die cut machine. Run through again. Just like. There we go. Okay. So we got that one. And perfection again. So really, you guys will not. Yeah, I don't think you guys can see it on camera, other than like the color difference, obviously, because the Canson is similar to the whatever the color is called from the Spellbinders. Because this is porcelain. This is the one that's like white. I forget what the other one is called, but this color is similar to that. But other than the color difference, unless you have it like right in front of your face, like it's right in front of my nose, I can see that the Spellbinders paper has impressed better. Like it's minor. It's minor, but I can see it and I can feel it. Like this stuff does, but this works, you know? And it's beautiful. Like it's gorgeous. It's yeah, you know? So there we go. So that was the Canson XL. I'll do the butterflies just because we'll see if I actually like finish those like on camera. Cleaning the plates. That's the other thing, and this is recommended by Spellbinders because again, this ink is made by Ranger and it's basically like a hybrid archival formula. Is Archival ink cleaner. The only thing I don't like about this stuff is it stinks. It's so gross. I hate the smell of it. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. It's icky. Also, it's kind of oily, but that's what makes it work. It's a dauber. I personally will not, because this is going to get just gross after a while, and then that really annoys me. So I just take a cloth, and then and it's got a little like doohickey in there, so I just get some of the cleaner onto a cloth, just like so. And then I use that to clean my plates. And you don't have to, like right now, I don't have to clean this. But I'm planning on using a lighter ink on the inside. So that's why I'm going to clean this off. But you can use these quite a few times. After a while, if you're using specifically the BetterPress ink, if you're going to use Oxide, anything that's like kind of thicker, they will start to build up, you know, over time. So every once in a while, especially if you're doing like, you know, sitting down and pressing 20 card fronts or whatever, every once in a while you're going to want to clean your plates. So I just give it a good wipe down with the cleaner. You can also like wipe off your mat with it, whichever one is the platen. I can't remember if this is a chase. Like I said, I don't remember half the time. The terminology, I'm just like, whatever. So wipe off the greeblies. Give the plates a good little wipe down. And that's good. Just like so. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Okay. It's the doohickey next to thingamabob. Exactly. So it's that thing. So then, because I've taped, and I'm gonna keep the tape on here because I like that, I'll just go like that to remove it. And then you can see like this is gonna get dirty. I don't care. So then we'll do the butterflies while I've got like all this out. So let's do the butterflies because they're pretty. You can't go wrong with butterflies. Get that out of there. And then we'll peel that off just like so. Doesn't really matter how I place these because I'm pretty much for sure going to die cut them. So we'll just center them. just like that. And I need more paper. Where's the rest of that Canson XL? Let's just keep using my Canson XL because again, this stuff's cheap. The frugal part of me just always wants to win out. So we'll do that. Yep. There's the butterflies. And then we'll just add more stickiness to the back. Just like that. Kind of somewhat center it. Doesn't really matter. Stick it to there. And then this one will also just ink up with the black. I've been wanting to use this for months. Because this one, you can't go wrong with butterflies. They're so pretty. So, just a little tap and twist. There we go. And all this is a lot faster than me explaining like everything. But I don't have a problem with any of this. I just, trying to explain all the things while live and answer questions. This is taking like a while. But if you just sit down and play with it, it doesn't take very long at all. So we got inked up. Doop. Magnets. I need a bigger boat. I'll run this guy through.
You get the SS minnow and that's all you get.
Shh. I was going to say something and then I remembered, wait, you're live. It was going to be like something to do with F and U. Anyway. Okay.
Family friendly, babe.
Yeah, it's family friendly. Oh, love it. I love it. It's so satisfying. So yeah, so satisfying. Okay, and we'll clean this guy off because, again, if I end up finishing this one into a card, we'll see. Because, you know, I'm being extra talkative. So I'm going to take another corner of this cloth, because the other one's filthy, and just kind of add some cleaner. There we go. And then wipe off these little barflies. Just like so. And then also kind of clean off this matte, platinum, chase, whatever. One's a platinum and one's a chase. I just don't remember which is which. But for whatever reason in my head, I think that's the... No, I don't remember. I don't remember. My brain's just like, no. Terminology, what is that? Okay. And then same things. When you use the like a tape runner, just kind of wiggle it a little bit to get it off of there. And then down the road when this gets really, because I kind of, there you go. I got like sticky residue on here. Down the road, I'll probably maybe use a bit of like alcohol or something just to clean that off. But I'm not worried about it. Again, it's more just trying to avoid buildup. Because the more buildup, things start getting messy. But we don't need that right now. So we've got... I can tell immediately. Like, again, the Spellbinders cotton, like BetterPress paper, it really is the best I've tested. It gives it that letterpress. Like, I wish you guys could like see it. And the person who wins the card is going to get to see it in person. And then you can, you know. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see how much we get done today. Okay. Because we're going to do very simple watercoloring. I thought since there's a good sale, plus when it comes to watercolor, if you have never done it or if you're curious about it and want to, I highly recommend experimenting with Oxide inks to do watercolor. I've done a million videos using them to watercolor. I just find that these are very forgiving, you know, and most people already have them, or at least have a few. And that at least removes the stress of like investing into actual like watercolor paints, things like that. It's like play around with oxides. They're fun, you know. And if you don't end up liking watercoloring with them, you can use them for all the other things we use oxide inks for. So we're gonna take a little pan. Hello, Shawna. I picked out. This is my go-to rainbow selection with distress, whether it's oxide sprays, regular distress, whatever. This is like kind of my bright rainbow. Picked raspberry, carved pumpkin, mustard seed, mowed lawn, mermaid lagoon, and wilted violet. The only time I'll sometimes switch this out for peacock feathers. It just depends on my mood. Today, mermaid lagoon went out. So that's my like go-to selection. And then if I really wanted to just keep it to 3, which I've done again tons of videos on because you can make a lot of colors, is these 3. Cool. Because these 3 will make all the colors, really. But it's so nice having them. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I'm feeling like I'm just like talking and not actually doing anything. Let's get to coloring. Maybe that'll be more fun. I don't even know. Okay. Yeah. Woo. Let's do it.
Let's do some coloring.
Let's do some watercoloring.
Watercolor. Watercolor.
It is a good thing you don't have access. You would be so. I think Tim like probably made Mario stop back in their lives. Like Mario had like sound effects.
Oh.
You know, and. Yeah, he doesn't do them anymore, and I'm sure it just got to me, but they were funny. And I'm just glad you don't have access to sound effects, because, oh, good lord.
I can get an air horn.
Oh, no, we don't need an air horn. The only sound effect I want, and I need to pester Katty Zielski for it, because it's her own voice, but she has that one where she's like, you're doing it wrong.
Oh.
And I'm like, I need that. I'll put that in everything. Like, the start of every live of mine, you're doing it wrong. It's like, yep, I am.
There's no really wrong way to do this.
There isn't, but it just makes me laugh. And she's saved it and uses it herself. And it just always makes me laugh. Like, you're doing it. That one, and the other phrase she uses is clearance, Clarence. And I'm like, Clearance. Anyway, okay. Sorry. It's a day.
Sounds like something you hear on the airplane movie. What's our vector, Victor?
Yeah. Don't call me Shirley.
Yeah.
We need to add that to the list.
That is
actually, okay, pause. Chris and I have a notes app list on my phone of like movies and series, and then when they pop up, we have to add them.
Yeah. Airplane.
Yeah. We have Grumpy Old Men on here. We need to add that. Okay, Airplane. I've only seen parts of that movie. I've never seen the whole thing.
Really?
I know.
It's such a classic.
It is a classic. Okay, so added that.
It's when air travel used to be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Back to the live. So, just a little plastic palette. I could also do it just because my work surface is glass. Anything non-porous is gonna work. This little dude, I've used this for years, and it's linked in the supplies, but just kind of. And with these because they're full size with the oxides. I hold it on an angle, kind of like this, so that I'm only inking, smushing part of it, so I don't have like big amounts. That's hopefully that explains that. So we'll add some inks to my little palette, and we'll do them in rainbow order, as is tradition. We got our picked raspberry, our carved pumpkin, mustard seed, mowed lawn, mermaid lagoon, and wilted violet. There we go. And then for the actual watercoloring, you can either do like my little Tim Holtz detailer water brush, same one I've been using for a decade. It's in, for whatever reason, when I'm using specifically distress products, I always reach for this because it's like, that's Tim Holtz, this is Tim Holtz. They're meant to be together. Or you can just use a paintbrush. A paintbrush gives you more control of the water because this one is a good one. I have tried many water brushes over the years. Some of them are hot garbage. This one is my favorite because it doesn't necessarily like gulp water, but at times they just do. So that's why I have my cloth. I just keep it off to the side because one, you need something to wipe your brush off between colors anyway, but also sometimes you can just tell when there's just too much water. I'll just use my cloth to kind of absorb the excess. So we'll start with the water brush. We'll see. I might switch to a paintbrush. We'll see. It just depends. So, but yeah, anybody can do this. And Denise, bingo. It's June, baby. So, oh yeah. Hence the rainbow colors. I have so many rainbow cards coming, you guys. I love it. Rainbow all the things for all the reasons. But we're gonna zoom in so you guys can see a little better. Just like that. And then let's just do it. Let's just commit. So this is the Spellbinders right now. And yeah, you know what? Let's be crazy. Let's do both at the same time. Why not? I've got two images in front of me. So we'll start with the Spellbinders piece. And we'll just start painting. And I've already gone outside the lines. Whatever. Whatever, man. It's handmade. It's what you do. Doesn't need to be perfect. And we're just gonna paint. Yeah, you want to go deal with that? Before like real chaos starts to erupt. There we go. So I just pick it up with my little brush and then paint. That's it. That's it. Very simple. And the reason why I was saying like why I recommend experimenting with Pam, I'll get to your comment in a second. The reason why I recommend the oxides to experiment with watercoloring is because of just the way these are formulated. Because one, they're a distress product, so distress products are water reactive. Well, distress ink and oxide ink are water reactive. And because the oxides, and you can do this with distress ink. If you don't have oxides, you can do this with distress ink. It's fine. But there's something about the oxides that the way they're formulated and you know how depending on how much water you add and the fact that they are very just different. You know, certain colors will react differently, they dry differently, things like that. I find them extremely forgiving. Like I genuinely think anyone can do this. Like again, I'm not doing anything fancy. You know, as a water brush, doop doop, add a little bit, doop doop. That's it. You know? Like no real skills needed in my opinion. Okay. And then I missed that one. Okay. Question. Have you ever used watercolor with the Lindy's Magical Shimmer powders, like added the water ahead and used a brush? Yes, I have an entire playlist on my channel and using the Lindy's and using the Nouveau Shimmer powders. They're all in that same playlist. And I have used them like 3 ways from Sunday. So they do wonderful as well. Those are fun to play with. I love. And I've done them with, like in lives and stuff too, and I love those. I love the Lindy's powders and my Nouveau ones. They are super fun. And yeah, you can totally watercolor with those as well. So we'll just paint this. I assume that's a little bud. So we'll just paint that. And then orange, yellow, yeah, think we'll do this guy because I don't know. I don't know. Is he supposed to be the same? I would assume those are like, that is a bud. I'm going to say it's a bud. Again, doesn't matter. That I'm going to assume is a leaf. A leaf. I'm not even sure what that's supposed to be. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, got that. Okay. And this one is the Canson watercolor paper. And there's definitely a difference between the two, but that's also, how do I want to explain that? The Canson is not cotton. If anything, it's possibly a blend, or maybe it is cotton. I forget. What is Canson made out of? Just a sec. I don't have the info on this one. That's annoying. The old ones used to have info on the inside. Boo. Fine grain, cold press, but it doesn't say. Boo. Boo on that, Canson. I could have sworn it used to say on the inside. Anyway, no matter what, they're different grades. Like, when you get into the higher quality, aka more expensive watercolor papers, they're generally 100% cotton. And yeah. There's a lot. But unless you're really wanting to get into watercoloring, or if you have been playing around with watercolor and you've been struggling a lot with it, you know, things aren't doing what you want it to do. I do recommend trying a higher end brand. You know, because there's Arches, there's the Fabriano, etc. Like, they're a little pricey, but the difference is night and day. If you're going to invest in anything with watercolor, I do actually recommend like investing in the paper. Brushes, you can get away with a lot with like cheaper brushes. I don't know, a watercolor brush I've had for 10 years. You know, you can get away with a lot. And then the medium for the actual watercoloring, same thing. You can use inks. There's so many different brands of watercolors out there. I've used stamping inks. I've used high-end watercolors. I've used, you know, cheap watercolors. Sky's the limit, you know? So, yeah. But the one thing I do recommend technically is get the good paper. But again, the Canson XL works great. Intern, can you add a link to the Canson XL in the chat? I do have it linked, but he'll add it to the chat.
The watercolor paper?
Yep. So yeah, it's good stuff, and it's like a 9x12, and I just, with the Canson, when I get it, and that's what I can't find right now. Ooh, I hit my mic. Sorry, mic. Whatever. It's 9x12, 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 and I take it when I get it, and I take several sheets out. Ooh, I can't even. My camera's not gonna. And I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half again. I can't even show it on here. I cut it in half and in half. So then I end up with 4 pieces of 6" by 4.5 inch, which is this. It's 6 inches by 4.5 inches. So then I've got a little wiggle room to cut it down to A2 size. I do that with most of the pieces, and then I have them in a stamp pocket thing, and that's what walked off. It's around here somewhere. Whatever. So anyway, similar, you know? So yeah, we'll just work our way around. And I need to add a brown. I could mix all these and make like a sludge brown color, but why would I do that when this is sitting right here? So we'll just take a little bit of vintage photo, throw that in there. Make it look so easy. I tried to do no line coloring. What looks cool? Oh, no line color. No line watercolor is a process. I rarely do it with stamped images, things like that. I rarely do it because it is I do not recommend that. Like, if you're just learning to watercolor or you're just starting to experiment with watercolor, I do not recommend starting with no line. That is a beast in and of itself. It is beautiful when it's done, but it takes a lot longer. And I find it sometimes even stressful. I've shown though in videos doing like a embossing, like a 3D embossing folder and watercoloring that no line. That I find less stressful. I don't know why. I think because there's no lines. And I've done that, I think, live. Haven't I done that live? Pretty sure I've done that live. So yeah. But I recommend doing like something like this, like a BetterPress, stamping an image and heat embossing it is my like go-to, because then you have the raised edges, which is funny. With the BetterPress, these aren't raised, obviously, they're pressed in, but it kind of acts the same way in a sense. Just the nature of the BetterPress ink and the fact that it's pressed in, it does kind of keep things a little contained. So yeah. Is that the only little spot I actually needed the brown? I think so. I think that was the only spot. And the flower centers I can do with brown. Let's do it while I'm here. We'll just add a little bit of brown. Ooh, let me move up. There we go. Just kind of slap that on there. Just like that. That works. I'm happy with that. Go on to the Canson piece and do the exact same thing. Oh, and that flower center, I forgot. Whatevs. I'm also not going to worry about getting everything exactly to the edges either. Clearance. Just add some color. And then wipe off the brush, and then we'll go on to the next color. This is what card did you put swatches on? I assume you're talking about this little palette. This is linked in the supplies. It's just a little plastic Art Basics or something. I forget if that was the exact name. And same thing, I've had this thing for like a decade, if not longer. And then I just rinse it off when I'm done, or wipe it off. So now we're going in with Carved Pumpkin. We're going to make this flower all orange. And just stick it on, really. Again, anybody can do this, you know? The biggest thing too is when I first touch my brush, pick up the color. So right now it's concentrated, my strongest. I always start, especially with florals, like at the base, you know, with the darkest bit of color, and then I pull it out. And then my brush, pick up some more, start at the base, and I just squeeze my water brush so it's a little extra wet, hence the cloth to wipe it off, to absorb some of the excess. And there we go. So that one was was this Canson or is this the Spellbinders? That's the Spellbinders. This is the Canson. And just kind of swirl it. And that's all we do. Just like that. It's easy. It's fun. And you can always go back in, add a little bit more. You don't even need to worry about, like I said, filling in every little section. You can even get a little crazy if you want and do it messy on purpose and paint outside the lines. I'm not in the mood to do that today, but I've shown that in a ton of videos. That one freaks people out. It's fun. Try coloring outside the line sometime, you know? Live on the wild side.
Could you squeeze a few drops of reinkers on the palette instead of the pads?
Yes. You can do Reinkers, I've shown that. I don't do it as often with oxides specifically. I've done it with distress. The thing to remember, and I have shown that, I've done this also with like distress, like spray stains and oxide sprays. The thing to again remember specifically with oxides is if I was to put drops, one, you shake them up really good because the pigment's subtle. So you shake it up really good. You just need like a drop. For something like this, a drop will do you. But then you have to remember that drop of ink, this is going to be, so this flat surface. So if you've got a drop of ink on here, so picture it like a little bloop like that. While it's sitting on the palette, gravity will immediately make the pigments settle. So if I was to put a drop of picked raspberry reinker, oxide reinker on here, it'll very quickly start looking very dark, like distress, because you know those are just dyes. And so then you just have to remember to really swirl up that drop. That's why I don't do it as often, because you just got to pay a little more attention. But no, you totally can use the reinkers. But you just have to remember to add water. Like, do not paint with reinkers, like with just like a dry brush. It'll work, but it'll pretty much never dry because reinkers are not liquid watercolors. Reinkers are meant to re-ink these ink pads. They have additives in them like glycerin and whatnot to keep them from drying out. So if you're painting with direct full strength reinkers and you're not adding enough water to them, you're putting like full strength onto whatever surface. It's not as big of a deal with the oxides just because of the nature of them, but painting with like the distress ink reinkers, they're thick, they're viscous, they've got properties in them to keep them from drying out. So if you want like a full vibrant and you barely add any water, that thing might take forever to dry. If not, it might not dry at all. So you just gotta make sure to add water. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, we did orange, now we gotta do yellow. Getting all over the place with all of this, but also having fun. So we're still on the Canson. I always have to stop and look at it. It's like, which watercolor paper am I using? This one's still the Canson. So pick up a bit of the, yep.
Usually the oxides leave a chalky finish to the lines. Does it affect on the BetterPress lines too?
A little bit. That is part of it with specifically oxides, because they have pigments in them, so that they are more opaque. They will obscure. Focus. You can, because I haven't added a ton to this, but just slightly. You know, it's not quite as black. This doesn't bother me. But that's also why with the oxides, if I'm not using better, if I've just stamped an image, that's why I like to heat emboss it, because then you've got the heat embossing and it's a little raised. And even then, oxides will sit on top of heat embossing. But when everything's dry, sometimes I'll quickly give it a little wipe with a dry cloth, you know, to wipe off whatever's sitting on top of the heat embossing. But usually it's not a big deal. Like, it's not so obvious that it's like, oh, I can't even tell what I stamped. That sort of a thing. Usually it's not that big of a deal. So, yeah. Yes, I missed whatever, but yeah, this does have distilled water in it. It technically does not matter. The only reason I put distilled water in this little guy, same with any other, I've talked about this a lot in lives and in videos and things like that. Same with my little spray bottles, I use distilled water. The only reason I do that is because tap water, when it's sitting for a very long time, it starts to yellow. The like container, the water itself is fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter. But yeah, if you've got a like spray bottle that you've been using in crafting and it's gone yellow over time, it's the tap water. It's not the end of the world. It just doesn't look pretty, but it'll still work fine. But to eliminate that, because all of my product, you know, everything's sitting, I'm not gonna like empty this thing. I've never emptied this thing, like, you know, let it dry out. I just, when it gets low, I fill it back up. So to save it from like potentially going funky because it's sitting for long periods of time, I use distilled water. But it doesn't change, because I've had people like, oh, does it like make your watercolor better? And no, like regular water, it's because the water, it's going to evaporate. You know, you're using it to paint and then it evaporates. So it really doesn't matter whether you use tap water. Like my dirty watercolor jar, this is tap water. Like I am not going to muck around with distilled water in this thing because I dump it out, refill it, clean it out, whatever. Tap water. Don't care. Use it for my splatter. I'll use it for watercolor. It's fine. So, okay. And then, or yellow. We'll do green for a few layers. Blue. Purple. How do I want to do this? I need to get out of my own head. Let's do this one purple. Let's mix it up. Yeah. Let's do this one purple. Stop overthinking it, Amy. It's the one thing for me with doing anything with rainbow colors. I always want to go in rainbow order, but it also doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like the colors are there and they're beautiful. So now we'll use Wilted Violet. And we'll just paint it like so. We'll paint this one like so. And we'll be a little messy with it because we can be. Just see, this is what I deal with. Yeah. Yep.
Our neighbor is building a camper van.
Yes, and for those, if sometimes the mic picks you up fine, but if people that can't hear it, hopefully you guys can't hear that extra noise, and that Mike is doing his job cutting that out. Yeah, my neighbor's new hobby is buying a big transport van and doing all the work to convert it into a camper van. So he's been drilling through metal and cutting things. And because I work in the garage, he's like 20 feet away, making his money. And I've just been like,
we need to soundproof these walls.
I wish I could soundproof the garage. That'd be wonderful. It's not the end of the world. And I like those neighbors because other than this new hobby, they're pretty quiet neighbors.
Yes.
Until he takes up a hobby like this. And it's like, man.
Very nice young couple.
Yes, they're very nice. So it's not the end of the world. It just sucks. Like, it wouldn't bug me if I didn't have to work in the garage. But whatever. As is our life. So anywho, there we go. Okay. And yeah, this is the one I didn't do the centers. Okay. We'll do that. And then that. And that one. And then I'm going to take a bit of the yellow and just add it to this little bit here. Because, again, why not? Why not?
It's nice that the microphone actually gets rid of that stuff.
It freaking should for how much it costs. That was the other housekeeping thing. I've heard the request loud and clear. A lot of people want me to get another microphone for the unpaid intern. Dudes, if you guys had any idea how much this microphone costs, it was a lot. And I literally cannot get the same microphone cord because the one I have is actually too short for my desk, let alone I would need about a 20-foot cord to hook up another microphone. And one thing at a time, folks. I make cards for a living on the internet. Yeah. Like, I ain't rolling in it. And some of this equipment was just, and also though, saying that, like, anyone wanting to get into this thing, you don't need like fancy equipment at all. Like fancy microphones, fancy anything, really. I upgraded because my other microphone that was wonderful, kicked the bucket during a live. Yeah, during a live. Huh, that was fun. So rather than replace it with a similar model that I was worried would do the same thing, I upgraded to a very nice microphone that so far has worked wonderfully. Thank you, Mike. But yeah, when people want like one for him, I'm like, new.
I can just have my voice carry across the room.
Yeah, usually for the most part it picks them up quite well.
Yes. Yes.
So,
and I understand that sometimes it's quiet and annoying, but
yes. We eventually will have more things,
yes.
but one thing at a time, folks, because, yeah.
We're still working the gremlins out from our current system.
Oh, God, the gremlins. Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely been a journey.
Yep. And it never ends. Because, like I always say, I figure out something new and then I break something else in the process. That's always so super fun. So, yeah. But, yeah, those wanting to ever get into it, because I always said there's space for everybody. People want to do videos, all that stuff. Nowadays, man, you can do it all from your phone.
Yep.
And I've done lives using my phone many times. It works great. It's fine. It works great. The sound is great. The quality is great. I'm so jealous of that. Like, because when I started doing just videos, lives weren't even a thing back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I have my little, I wish I had kept it. My little Canon. It was a little pink point and shoot, and it was pink. And that's what I used for the first, I don't even know how, like years of filming videos with my little Canon. So yeah. And not I can't even remember when I finally got like a microphone to do like voiceovers. Okay, we did that one. I want to do this one. I want to do that one in blue. Let's do this one in yellow. Why not? Why not? What? You're not a billionaire? Come on, Amy, you know you're rich. Yeah. I wish, man. And man, if I was rich, I would be doing this live stream from, a yacht. No, I want a yacht. I was going to say the moors in Scotland, where the ruins, I would have a building. If I was a billionaire, that's the first thing I would be buying, like some little palace in Europe somewhere. There was one in France that I sent to Chris, and I was like, it's only $10 million US.
There's 1,500 abandoned castles in Scotland that are unclaimed.
1,500 abandoned? I will claim all 1,500. Literally. I would be doing my live streams from that, man.
Many of them are just ruins at this point.
I don't care. I would love to own ruins.
Yes.
I would build a shack next to the ruins and do my live streams from there. That's when you guys will know that Amy's finally made it in life and actually has made a bajillion, because all of a sudden, like, the scenery is going to change. Yeah. Yeah. Sadly is not the case. And sadly, the ruins around here are not as picturesque. Because we do have some ruins.
There are people usually living in those for various reasons.
I was thinking of the ones like the old farmhouses and that sort of thing
some of those are so gorgeous.
Oh, some of them, the old craftsman homes, yes. Don't even start those. That's the other thing. Man, if I nearly, many years ago, I nearly was able to get, and I'm not going to get into the story and the circumstances, but it was one of the old Sears catalog homes, that someone had ordered from the freaking catalog and built. And it was outside of the town I was living in, and I had told my partner at the time, I was like, lowball them an offer, because they were asking way too much at the time for it. And he wouldn't do it, and he kept telling me I was crazy. And then I found out the people who ended up buying it, and they lowballed the offer, and what they got it for just killed me. I was like, I could have lived in a craftsman. I could have lived in a Sears catalog home with hardwood floors. Ugh. But whatever. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. But, yeah. Coulda, woulda, shoulda with everything. And besides the fact, I'm also well aware that those houses usually need a ton of work.
Yep.
So, someday. That's what I say. Someday. Okay, we did that little painting. I'm not sure what that is, but I'll just pretend it's a petal. Who cares? It's florals. We'll do whatever we want. I'll make the rules. It's my channel. Okay.
Yeah, we'd still be doing this.
She would have an IT team to handle the gremlins, and the intern be off playing video games. Yep. Yeah. There would be signs. If I had the monies. There's a reason, and I told someone that recently because they had commented about wanting a microphone, and I was like, he's called the unpaid intern for a reason. Like, that's literally the whole point. The only thing I pay him in is peanut M&Ms and gratitude. You know, like, yeah, he helps during the lives. And then the rest of the time, dude, this is a one-woman show. The only other thing he really does is he's my sounding board when I'm screaming and crying over usually tech issues. But most of those I figure out myself. Because, you know. But also because he works. He also works full-time. So he can't really be
a full-time assistant?
No.
No.
He'd love to be a full-time assistant, but I can't pay him.
No, definitely not. Especially not what being paid now.
I know, right? Like everything. Someday. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Does anyone know what this is? I don't know what this is. I don't think it really matters. I'm going to paint it whatever I want anyway. I recognize it, but my brain is just like what is this flower thing? But again, does it really matter? No. Because I'm still gonna paint, even if it's got a technical, like, this is supposed to be a doomahickey that's like orange. I don't care. We're doing what we want. That's the beauty of, you know, card making and art and all the things. Don't get too hung up on it. So we're just gonna paint. You pay him in love.
Sometimes.
Yeah. It's just peanut M&Ms, man. I buy 'em Snicks. You know. I buy him snacks. I buy him shoes. Those sorts of things. He knows. That's one of my things.
Yep. She did buy me shoes.
I did. I got him some shoes. Okay. We did that one, and then I was gonna do blue. That's what I was doing. I'm like, as always, distracting myself, and my brush has gone dry again. Okay. Fuchsia. Yes. I think that's a fuchsia. Okay. Yeah. I thank you guys. I'm pretty sure that is what that is. I'm still gonna paint it whatever darned color I want. I don't care. But I knew there was like a yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna use the Mermaid Lagoon. Gonna stick some of that in here. Just like paint it in. And I keep saying this like a broken record, but I mean it. If I can do this, anybody can do this. Like, I've been distracted this whole time. You know, I'm yapping about the moors in Scotland and whatever. And yes, I have been doing this a long time. I acknowledge that too. But the biggest thing that practice gives you, in my opinion, is like that comfort. Like, I remember before I like got into watercoloring and feeling so intimidated by it. You know, you'd see other people do it, or you'd see their finished work, and it's like, how did you do that? What? How? Ah! You know, now it is literally one of my most favorite things to do. Like, if I feel like I just don't want to have to think too much, but I want to color something in, watercolor, especially with oxides. Like, just they always just look pretty. And to get practice, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, the better you'll get at it. I can't stress that enough. And this, again, is coming from someone who's like, practice? I don't have time. I don't have time for that. I want to be good at it now. But yeah. We're going to do that one in purple. Let's do it. Let's just do what we want. Oh, wait. I'm going to add a little bit of brown right there. Doop, doop, doop. Just like that. Yeah, that works. Okay. Fuchsia or freesia? Yeah, one of them. I love flowers and all the things. I don't remember their technical names ever. And like I said, I also just don't care most of the time. Because why not? Just have fun with it. Don't overthink it. I know they're kind of like more like a seedless preserve sort of a color, these little guys. But yeah, we're just take creative license. I think I can understand with certain things. I can't even think of examples off the top of my head right now, but it's art, man. Just have fun with it.
Yep.
Like, it's a reason why they call it, creative license and all of that. Just try not to overthink it, because at the end of the day, especially with what we do, it's card making. It's not going in the Louvre. But again, we talked about that in another video. Someday, when I actually get to visit the Louvre, because it is on my bucket list, I'll bring a card with me and we'll prop it up in the bathroom.
Yep.
And I'll be like, oh my God, I made it.
I made it to the Louvre.
I made it to the Louvre. Ah! And then I'll probably get like kicked out by security. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. Whatever, man.
Just on the way out, get my card.
Yeah. Yeah. Someday. Okay. These are technically probably like freesia or fuchsia petals as well, but I want to add a little more green. So again, creative license. I am doing what I want. It is my channel. It's my card. I'll make the rules, and you're not my real dad. You can't tell me what to do. A little bit brown. Boop. Boop. See? We did it. So that was the Canson. And then we'll finish off the Spellbinders one. Haven't seen you watercolor with your Caron brush markers in a while. Do you have any plans to use them in future videos? Oh, sure. The only reason I haven't used them is I fixate on random products for a good chunk of time, and then I'll switch to something else. So the Caron brush markers, they're great. I love them. Like, I wouldn't show them or promote them otherwise. And I have a playlist for those that might not be aware. I have a Caron brush markers playlist as well. I have playlists for everything on my channel. But yeah, I am someone who has very many very many coloring mediums, because that's what I love. Do you need all the things? No, no one does. I don't. I just choose to, because I really enjoy mucking around with all the different things. So, as a content creator, one, that does give me more options and stuff for content, but it also sometimes, makes it difficult to keep up with everything. Because I've got a lot. And I like to collect coloring mediums. I have actually quite an extensive watercolor collection too. And it just gets a little bit nuts, but yeah. Caron Brush Marker Pros are fun. I don't even know what that is, but we're just going to add orange to it. I don't think it matters. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. We're just going to add some little jimmy-hickeys. Oh, more orange to that thing, whatever that is. Again, don't really care. Yeah, okay. Add a little bit of green. There. That's it. Oh, wait, I lied. There's one little dupe right there. Oh, and right there. Keep missing spots. And then add a little bit of brown to those little centers. Add a little more, just because I can. Oh, and I didn't do that. See? So we'll just add a bit of yellow, just like I did to the other one. Doop, doop, doop. 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 Oh, and those centers. I knew there was something. Kind of dab that in there. Yeah. That one. This one on the right is the Spellbinders blah, blah. Spellbinders, BetterPress, cotton. This one on the left is the Canson. They're both great. You know, I can see those little differences and I can tell differences, like the feel of it, which is impossible to explain, when coloring. But at the same time, it's not a big thing. And then when the actual BetterPress, like I mentioned earlier, it does work better on the Spellbinders. Can these be colored with alcohol markers? No. You do not want to use alcohol markers with this ink or archival ink. Nah. I also would not recommend using alcohol markers on this type, like watercolor paper. You can do it. It works. It works fine. However, watercolor paper, the nature of it is to that's it, it's meant to absorb. So you've got, your watercolor, etc., and liquid, and it's absorbing. So when you're using alcohol markers on watercolor paper, it's literally just sucking the ink out of your alcohol markers, and you're going to dry out your markers. But you could totally do like a BetterPress plate. So say it was this plate, ink it up with test it out. It would probably work. Ink it up with something like alcohol marker safe ink. So there's Simon's Intense Black. That's the one I always use. But like Hero Arts has one, Gina K. There's a bunch of brands that have alcohol marker friendly inks. So test it out. Ink up the plate with an alcohol marker friendly ink and then press it onto your choice of cardstock that you like to color on. It'd probably work great. It's another option. Something I can visit in the future. Someday. Y'all get to it before I do, that's for sure, because I got too much on my plate. But so those were the colorings, and then let's quickly do the butterflies, just because they're here and they're so pretty. Yeah, let's just, and also because I have see all of this, I barely used. I could have got away with hardly any, but just is what it is. So let's just quickly color in these guys. Just like so. So that they have some color on them. Because why not? Doop. Pink. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Love your nails. Thank you. I painted them yesterday. Aren't they amazing?
They are amazing.
Although my lights don't make them, in natural light, they look even better. Mooncap polish, because people always ask. This one is actually called Sealed with a Hiss.
What a great name.
I know, right? But yeah, I took a little me time yesterday because it was time I needed to. I paint my nails once every 2 weeks if I'm lucky. I can't even remember the last time I painted them, and they were janky. So I took some time and painted my nails and made them look pretty again, and now I feel human. Okay, we're gonna keep this simple. Just slap the color on, man. It just don't matter. So we'll do that. We'll go in with yellow. Just like so. And then, oh, yeah, yes, Darlene. Could you let the ink on the palette dry and use letter? Yes. Specifically, oxides, everything. For the most part, this will not dry. Maybe depending on your climate, because one, it's not like I really test them. My only concern, and why I don't bother, with something like this is because I use this palette a lot. I'm not gonna leave it sitting out. My only concern would be if you left it sitting for too long is like dust, lint, that kind of stuff. So you have it like protected in a sense. But like if you want to come back and use this tomorrow, it'll be fine. And if it does sort of dry out, depending, again, your climate might affect it or whatever, yeah, you can just reactivate it with water, you know? And you can do the same thing with actual watercolors. You know, you put them on a palette, reactivate it with water. You totally can. The only reason I don't like save this is, and like people used to argue, like freak out on me. It's like, it's such a waste. Like you're wasting money. This is nothing. It looks like a lot. It's literally nothing. But my thing is, if I left this anywhere, I'd get my elbow in it. Meh, you know, like I would ruin clothes, which is that would be more money wasted than this little tiny bit of ink. So, but yeah, you totally can. Let me move this guy around. Doop. So orange, red, pink, orange, yellow. We'll do green. So pretty low. Oh, make sure I'm actually on the screen. Doop. There we go. Green. And then we'll do the blue. Add some of that. Doop. A little bit of darker, just to intensify it a tiny little bit. Boop. 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 Oh, that's what I forgot. I was going to tell you we should have gone this weekend. It probably would have been crazy. The butterfly house at the forestry farm is open.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll go.
Maybe next weekend would be a better time.
Yeah, we'll see. I love butterflies.
Yes, we should be definitely going to those things. We both love butterflies.
Yep. They have a really nice one at the Calgary Zoo, which
we could have spent all day in there.
Oh yeah, we were in that one for a good chunk of time. It was just, it's so fun. Although that was like, what, 2 years ago? We haven't gone, he and I haven't gone anywhere in forever. But I think it was for another IKEA trip. I think that's why we went. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And then
we don't
Chris and I went to.
It's purposeful.
Yeah. It was a business trip, literally, because I think I needed stuff for the office or whatever. So we went to Calgary and yeah, Chris and I went to the zoo.
Wasn't it right before we built this place? Your office here?
That was like 3 years ago. No, maybe?
Maybe it was.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oy. Anyway. Okay, so simple. And then yes, you totally can. You could like sort of ink smush this within reason if you really, you'd have to be a little careful because rainbow is beautiful, but you mix all these colors together, they turn into sludge. In fact, here we go. And I don't care if this upsets someone because people like it's wasteful, but it demonstrates a point. When I talk about sludge, this is what I mean. So here's a brush. Ready for it? This is sludge. We'll mix all. I nearly got that sludge on one of the finished panels. That would have sucked. So if you mix everything together, this is what we're talking about when we say like it makes mud. When you mix all the colors, it just depending on the concentration of said colors, you start getting mud. Now, is that ugly? Depends on what you want. If you're going for just bright rainbow colors, this is not very pretty. But this is what I'm talking about when you're doing specifically stuff like ink smushing and you're using like all the colors. If you're not careful, that's the result you end up with is mud, sludge, whatevs. So, but yes, you totally can. It works. But yeah, there's that explanation in a nutshell. But I just wipe it off. It's fine. You know, This is not why I'm not a billionaire. All the ink wasted. Literally, in the scheme of things, it's nothing. Considering how long I've had the Oxide inks, I've had the Oxide inks since they came out, and I have not re-inked that many of them, and I use them a lot. So, yeah, what was smushed on this palette is very, very minimal. But yeah, it would still, you do what works for you. Right? You know, make what works for you, and experiment and have fun. Have fun with it. Honestly, it's just is what it is. Okay, so we have three color panels, and they're all rainbow and fabulous. I love it. So what we need to do is think for a second. Literally, I was like, ooh, yeah, I can do that. Okay, let's just die cut first and let my brain like marinate for a bit. So this little butterfly set, get off of there. Okay, so it's got a coordinating wafer die for the barflies. So we'll cut them out all individually. Just like so. So I just gotta line it up like that. Like that. And then you can use, obviously, the Platinum 6 that I was using for die cutting. The only reason I'm not is because I don't have space. So I'll just run this through. Oh, and it came loose because I'm an idiot. Good job, Amy. Good job. You're so professional. I legit need more space. I don't have space. Where? Okay. Line this guy back up again. Boop. Boop. Make sure you got clearance. Let's add a little bit extra tape. Maybe not. Let's use the Spellbinders tape. This stuff holds a little better. Yeah, this will hold a bit better. Instead of the Easy C tape. This stuff. There we go. There we go. Okay. Boop. Boop. And then run that through. Oh, I missed something. The butterflies are in stock. Those are in stock. That I wasn't even, I checked before we started. They were in stock as of starting this live. Because that's why I've been holding on to these for literal months. Because they were sold out for the longest time, and I didn't want to be a jerk and be like, look at how amazing these are, you know, and nobody can get them. So yeah, the butterflies are in stock right now. As is this plate, because there was another one I was going to use, and same thing. That one's been out of stock for a while because it's been super popular. So I'll just hold on to it, boop, until it comes back. So yeah, there's my little barflies, and I'll deal with that later. This guy doesn't have an outline. Like, this one doesn't come with a wafer die. This one's just a plate, and then there is a sentiment that comes with it that's really pretty, but it's a birthday sentiment. So I'm not going to use the sentiment for this. What I'm gonna do is first move this stuff out of the way again. It's got our barflies. This I'm gonna trim down. I'm gonna trim this down to because yeah, right now it's a little bit bigger than 4.5 by 6, so I need to trim him down to smaller than that. We'll see once we get there. So it's 4.25. I want to kind of get down to a little bit smaller than that. So like 4 1/8. Let's see, could I do 5 3/8? That looks, yeah, that works. So that one was the Canson because that was cut bigger. This one right now is A2 sized, but I'm going to trim this one down a smidge as well, just because I can. You don't need to. You could do whatever you want. But I'm going to take just a bit off of these edges to also get it to like 4 1/8 by about 5 3/8, roughly. Yeah, that seems about right. So I got that, and then for my sentiments, yeah, let's do the sentiments, and then I'll get to the insides of the cards. I pulled this. This is an oldie but goodie favorite. I've done many videos using this set. This is the beautiful butterflies stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. This came out a bajillion years ago. When 2020, yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago. Love it. Like I said, done a bunch of videos, but I wanted to use those sentiments from this set. So we'll take, because I just thought that and that would be really nice. So I'm going to use those sentiments, and I need black cardstock. Which piece I have is completely not straight at all. So I'm just gonna quickly chop this. Let me see here. Into, because I'm gonna die cut. Diddly diddly. You know what? Let's just do 2 separate pieces to make life a little bit simpler. So I could just use, well, yeah. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. There we go. Got some black cardstock. And then we're going to use, let's just kind of pile up all these random dudes. Dupe this. So then I'm using the mirrored arch labels wafer dies because I bought these when I bought this plate because they match like shape. And funny enough, in my old videos, it was Spellbinders like stacking wafer dies like this that were some of the first wafer dies I ever bought. I think it was Labels 4 was like my absolute favorite because of the shape of it. Yeah. Anyway, I want to use one of these. Potentially this one. There's so many in here. Is this the size of one I want to use? Okay, so this one's like the exact size of it, which I think I'm going to have to use just to fit, yes, to fit this sentiment into here. So, get that lined up, kind of give myself a visual, do it like that, and then do that, get that lined up, kind of get it straight, doesn't need to be perfect because it is just going to get die cut, but do that, get that in place, move these out of the way, anti-static powder. If you're gonna do heat embossing, highly recommend anti-static powder because this helps keep the embossing powder from clinging to anything other than the stamped image. I've already plugged in my heat tool, so hopefully it will not mess with the tech. I got my embossing powder. I need more space. Let's move my water brush out of the way. I need an embossing ink pad. Okay, here we go. This is like, there we go. There we go. Okay. Then we're going to stamp our sentiments with clear embossing ink. Stamped pretty much perfectly, but better to be safe than sorry. Yep. And then embossing powder. Was it a Tim Holtz watercolor brush used? Yes. Everything I used is listed and linked. And for those in the chat, it's also pinned at the top of the chat, my supply list. And I link all the things to try and make life as simple as possible for everybody. Okay. Okay, let that sit for a second. We'll do the other one while we're at it. So, clear embossing ink. And then we'll do it again. Yep. And then same thing. Put the embossing powder. Do people need this much embossing powder? Hell no. This, because people, this is like a sandwich size systemic container. The one I linked to is much smaller than this. The average crafter does not need. There's probably 5 plus 6, maybe even 7 containers of embossing powder in here. I ended up with quite a bit over the years. You know, Simon's kits, like it's, you know, I have a lot. I also do this professionally. So I have more than the average bear when it comes to embossing powder. You do not need this much. No one really does. I only started using those containers because I just have so much. Okay. And we can melt. Yep. There we go. Embossing powder lasts forever. Yeah, technically. There's some claims that it goes bad. I've never had that happen. Yeah. Like, yeah. It's, I don't know. I could see it depending, like, again, it's a climate thing. Like, people in much more humid climates, that doesn't necessarily make the embossing powder go bad, but moisture could cause it to, like, clump together, maybe. But, yeah, embossing powder, for the most part, like, lasts forever. Although I've heard stories from people, though, that people have said, like, they had, like, really old jars of it, and it just wasn't working, and maybe. Like, yeah. But technically, in theory, they're basically like a form of like little plastic particles. So it just, I don't know. Is your heat gun a Wagner? Yes, and it's linked. It's a Wagner. It's awesome. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. No notes. Okay. So we got that. And then we need my trusty little cloth that I was using to clean. So you always want to make sure I'm not using the corners where I have like that disgusting stamp cleaner. It works great. It just stinks. So a clean-ish section of my cloth and a little bit of elbow grease to remove that anti-static powder. Because on dark cardstock, it's very obvious. So you wipe it off. and you're good to go. Not wiped. Wiped. I have more issues with the chunky glitter ones. Yes. Embossing powders with glitter in them, and depending on the type, because there's a lot available now, if you're using an embossing powder with glitter in it, I recommend, I wouldn't use it for a sentiment like this. Maybe one like this, because this is like thicker. I wouldn't use it for anything detailed, but if I, like, say I covered this with like a glittery type embossing powder, I would put the heat tool from behind so that the air pressure isn't, because it flings the glitter everywhere. Anything, and just chunky embossing powder in general, because there's the thicker embossing powders, things like that. Heat from behind, because then that way it will keep the air from flinging stuff all over the place. So, yeah, that's how you want to work with glitter stuff, and just be aware that no matter what, some of the glitter is just going to come off, because that's just what it does. And I had little spots that I didn't fully get, so I'll just take my little sand eraser and get that off of there. Yeah, we're good. We're good. And then I can take my little wafer die here and some tape, because we'll get this lined up. Can I use a smaller one? Would a smaller one work? Let me see. I don't think it will, because I don't think it'll give me the clearance. No. Let's do the big one. So we'll line this guy up just like that, and then tape him down so that he doesn't move. And then we can run that through the die cut machine. Stop using glitter embossing powder. I never had any luck yet. Glitter embossing powder it's just a little bit of a beast in a way, but when it works, it's amazing. I haven't used my glitter embossing powders in a really long time. I always usually pull out like the black glitter embossing powders for Halloween stuff. Love it. But yeah. Glitter in any forms. Like I have said many times in videos, glitter is the herpes of the craft world. Like, once you introduce glitter into your craft space, it's there forever, along with around the rest of your house. And you just got to accept it, man. There's no cure for it. Okay. So, line up again. There we go. So we'll line up this one. There we go. Tape it down. Run it through. And then die cut it. I have a gold powder I've had since 88. Back when I used a light bulb on the back of my paper towel. Some of the things we used to do in crafting. Hell, some of the things we do now. That's why I'm always like a little bit of a... That's my other safety tip. And there's people that don't listen to me, but like things like these heat tools, do not leave them plugged in. That is my PSA. Do not leave them plugged in. And I don't care if you've got like a, what do you call it? The multi-plug thingy. My brain stopped.
I mean, power, like an extension cable?
Yeah. What's the extension cable called? The one with like the multiple plugs that has a switch on it.
Power bar.
Yes. There we go. Told you guys, brain stop. Even if you've got like a power bar and you switch off the power bar at the end of the day, I can't. Don't try to get out of that habit. A tool like this, if it accidentally gets knocked over, because people got pets, kids, chaos happens. A tool like this that gets knocked over and gets turned on, you're gonna burn your house down. Like, this thing gets to like 450 degrees and it wouldn't take much. So getting into that habit of unplugging it, I make it a habit to always unplug mine. Like I have it right beside me. I have a little power bar and I unplug it at the end of the day before I leave my room because stupid things happen. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you for the super chat. This is a long live this time. I'm making up for the last one was super short.
It was only like 70 minutes.
Because we went for ice cream.
We did.
Was that the last one or was that the one before?
No, that was the last
Was
one.
it the last one I was super short on?
Yeah.
Everyone was so shocked, but I was like, I'm going for ice cream. Anyway, yeah. I'm making up for that with my chatty, rambly insanity. Yeah, power strip, power bar, same thing. Because even those power bars, and yes, you can flip that switch, but there's still power running to that thing. You know, and again, it's amazing. You know, a cat walking over stuff because that's what cats like to do. I swear they're just intentionally trying to burn our house down most of the time. Yeah, because these tools are hefty, and it's better to be safe than sorry. Okay, so we got these die cut, and they're all. Yeah, that was a little smudge on there. I was like, what the heck? Okay, so we got those. And so those will go on here. See? Love it. We'll get back to that in a minute. We need to do the insides of the cards. And I do need to come up with some... I'll probably finish this one later. Because I have an idea, but I don't know if we'll get to it today. And I have like... I gotta clean this desk. Whatever. One thing at a time. Okay. Insides. I want to do... this. Since we're doing 2 cards. So this is going to be my card base. And then I legit need a bigger boat, but I'll make this work. So, oh, that's right. Thanks. Thank you, Linda. Last week we were sick.
Oh, right.
Last week we were sick. The week before was ice cream.
Yeah.
Somebody was paying attention. Thanks, Linda. All our days run into each other. Half the time we don't even know what the heck's going on in our own lives.
Yes.
That's what it was. Yeah, last week we were miserable. It was so bad. But I made a beautiful card last week. I was impressed with myself. It's amazing sometimes. I get like some of the best ideas when I'm feeling like death. It just is what it is. Okay, back to the BetterPress. And our little plate. So, how do I want to... We're going to make sure we get this like centered. I'm going this part is going to be an experiment because of what I want to do. Now I need to think for a second. Do I want to do it like this? Or do I want to do it as a separate piece? I think I want to do it as a separate piece. And then trim it down and do a black card base. Yes, that will be easier. Let's not make life more difficult. Where? There we go. Open package. Okay. We're going to make my life easier. That's why. So it's not going to be an experiment because I was going to do it directly onto the card base, but I would rather just not. So, using my grid lines, making sure things are lined up. It also doesn't need to be 100% perfect, but this is good. Okay. We got our plate. And but people choose to have that glitter. It's true. Glitter, it is. Glitter is just... Okay, so I got just some white cardstock. And we'll put, again, just a little boop, boop. Hardly any adhesive on here because it just doesn't take much. And you gotta be careful. I got like schmutz on my fingers. So this is the back anyway, so I don't care. But how about we don't do that to this? This is fine. Okay. So we're going to line up this dude. Like so. And we'll just use my hoodie to press it into place because obviously I got crap on me. So whatever. Okay, other inks. And I've done this before, so I know these work. These are the Altenew Fresh Dye inks. They work really nicely. Specifically also because these are the felt Oh, do I want to do this color? Yeah, I'm going with it. We're sticking with it. I don't care. I didn't use anything similar to that. Whatever. Whatever, man. We're sticking with it. I just wanted a light color, so I went with this very cool because it's aqua and it's pretty. But yeah, these are the felt ink pads, so they work. And I did that in the live that's linked below in the little playlist. I used other on a different Ulta New Fresh Dye ink, and same thing. It was like on the inside of the card, yada yada yada. They work. They work great. So we're just gonna do the same thing though. Little tappy twisty. The thing with light colors is it's much more difficult to see whether or not you got coverage. So we will just see, you know, I'll just kind of go over it a couple times. I can see it. I can see it. So we'll just give it a little tappy tap. And then dupe. And then we'll get that guy out again. No ink, just the impression. Oh yeah, that looks really pretty too. Like doing, there's a, it's called blind letterpress. I was like, there's a term for it. I actually remembered that one. Can't remember power bar, but yeah, blind letterpress is when you run something through without any ink, and so then you're just getting like an embossed impression. It's really pretty. Like 100%, you totally can do that too. Okay. Look at that. It did pick up a little bit of the BetterPress ink here and there, just a smidge of it, but obviously I didn't clean it. I do not care. And again, you cannot see it on camera, but you can feel it. So the people who win these cards, you can feel it in real life. Especially like this is Simon's 120-pound smooth white cardstock. So it is thicker. I've done it with thinner papers and it works. And you'll still get that like impression that you can just barely feel. But yeah. Sky's the limit, man. Do what works. But this is going to go on the inside of the card just so that there's something pretty. Oh.
What's up?
Go to my supply list.
Yep.
Go to scroll down and click on add the list or the tag, whatever it is. Scroll down to one that says SSS cardstock. It's like lower down. You'll have to get to it. Yep. And then just hit enter on the thinger. The pre-cut and scored card bases. They're scroll down. Go up a little bit. The line where it says Simon Says Stamp is one of the things on those ones. Those three beside it on the left.
These ones?
Yeah, one of them is like A2 top folding card bases, I think. Right? Yep. Those are the ones I use. He's linking it. We're getting there. Yeah, I use the Simon pre-cut card bases like all the time. They are convenient. So yes, he can post a link for you guys. Boop. Okay, we're going to repeat for the second card base, or second inside of the card. So we lined it up again. Press that in there, just like so. I have no... We'll just do that. I lost my ink pad. There it is. Okay, and then we'll just do this again with this very cool ink. Do the little tappy twisty. Just like so. Yep. And then we'll do it again. Okay. Did that. Stick the doomahickey on the doomahickey. And then run that through the machine. Just like that. And then move that over. it's just satisfying. You know, like it's just so satisfying. Look at it.
That is really neat.
So yeah. And then we just give it a little wiggle. Boop. And we're good. We're good. And since all I used was like a dye ink, I don't need to use that cleaner. I can just use a wipe and just wipe that ink off. So there we go. Let's give it a little extra wipe because like I got schmutz all over everything. So kind of carefully lift that up so I can just boop, get that out of there, throw that over there, put that away, aka just throw it off to the side. Okay, and then, so then the card base, since I changed my mind, do I have a full? I do. Ha! I got that. Use the big trimmer to cut this guy in half. Line that up. There we go. And then we're going to score these guys. These will be top folding A2 cards. So score it at 5.5. Yep. And then do the same thing for that one. There we go. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. Go back to the other paper trimmer. I'm going to trim this guy down to slightly smaller as well, so that I'm going to take about an 1/8 inch off every edge on this one just because I can. It's a little annoying because it's got sticky bits on it, but I also don't care. It'll be fine. Yep. It'll be fine. There we go. And we'll do the same thing with this one. There we go. This panel will be 4 by 5.25. Not that it really matters, because again, this is going on the inside of the card. Okay. So we're gonna glue these onto the insides of our cards. I'm not gonna add any other sentiments because I can either keep the writing like right in here or with something like this again, because people ask, especially when it's something that takes up like most of the inside, right over it. Do not care. Like with the insides, it's just gravy. It's just, and my glue's clogged. Of course it is. Doop doop. Good enough. Okay, so we're gonna glue this now that I've hopefully unclogged the glue. No, I didn't. Oh, there we go. Add some glue. Oh. Okay, let's get this centered onto the inside of the card. Just like so. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. And do that. I think I'm the only person who can never cut straight, even with a paper trimmer. Sometimes the cardstock itself isn't straight, depending on the brand of cardstock you're using, and sometimes it's just the batch. Because even like high quality brands, every once in a while, there can be like an off batch. But, and this isn't elitist, because it's like certain cheap brands. I had people, because for a long time, like specific, like one brand in particular, like Recollections. Ugh. Yeah, it's cheap. And then I used to have many people. It's like, why are like my card bases are always off? The cuts are always off. I'm like, did you look at that cardstock? It's cheap for a reason. And it was like when you actually lay it out like on a grid sheet or anything, and it was like the cardstock was just jank. And I was like, you know what? I like saving money as much as the next person, 100%. But the absolute levels of frustration and wasted cardstock to try and get things cut even though I was like, so I stopped using that stuff because of that, because I was every card base, and you can always tell after you've cut it when you score it and fold, and it's like it'd be off. You know what I mean? Drove me utterly insane. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking into to see whether or not your cardstock's actually straight. And sometimes your paper trimmer might. It's rare. Your paper trimmer might not be like straight, but I have found that 99.9% of the time it's the cardstock. Okay, do I want to pop this up? No, this I want it here flat. The sentiment I'm going to pop up. The other thing you can add is look up Hero Arts block, because I didn't link to that, and I'm going to use it. The last one. The big design block. Yep. Okay, so we're going to adhere these directly to the card base. Boop. Okay, well, it's see, it's Recollections paper. Yeah, they're cardstock. Most of the time, it's not straight, like not even remotely. That stuff's infuriating to work with. Like, and it's just frustrating because like they're heavyweight white. Like the weight of it is good. I didn't like it for ink blending, and I didn't like it for like even stamping on, but I would use it for card bases. But every time I'd cut, score, fold, and it was like this. And it drove me insane. And it was the entire, like all the packs I've ever had. So I quit buying it because I was like, I would be spending more time like shaving off slivers of cardstock trying to get it straight. Okay. This is what I just had the unpaid intern add a link to. These are the big Hero Arts. They're meant for stamping. I never stamp with it. I just use it as weight. Holds things down. Okay. My Nina Classic Crest Solar is off 1/16" this ream. Oh yeah, see every once in a while, because especially with paper manufacturers, when they manufacture their cardstock, they don't cut like it's made in bigger pieces, like, and sometimes huge pieces, and then they have these big industrial machines that have like a literal guillotine blade. Like this thing is, man, seeing those things in action. But they'll put a huge stack of cardstock into those machines, and then it just slices. And depending on the machine and how things are lined up, like it can just, as that pressure on, think of a big stack of cardstock, it shifts ever so slightly. So like the top chunk will usually have like a perfect cut, stays straight, and then the lower pieces can sometimes be just slightly off. So, and people have discovered that too. Like you can take your cardstock into places like Staples, office supply stores that have smaller industrial machines for cutting, and they can cut your cardstock for you. A lot of people, card makers, have done that. But again, you run the risk of, you take in a big ream of sometimes expensive cardstock, and if the cut isn't straight and true, you've just effed up like a chunk of cardstock. So Yeah, I've heard horror stories, and I kept my own, or and then I stock up when Simon has their sales on like their brand or site-wide sales like they have going on today. That's when I stock up on the pre-cut card bases because I'm lazy. Like, convenience is king. So, yeah. Yeah. More often than not, it's the cardstock. It's not your eyeballs. It's the cardstock just being ornery. It happens. Okay. This is also why I use liquid glue, because my eyesight is getting worse as I get older. And I got astigmatism in both my eyes. And liquid glue gives me wiggle room. Okay. So we did that. And then we're going to pop up our sentiments. Let me move these guys out of the way. And then I need, okay. Well, thank you, Moira. Yeah, like, I totally understand things like, you know, the BetterPress is one of the newer inventions in card making. And I totally get people not wanting to get yet another tool, you know, yet another thing, all that stuff. I get that. I even held off. When they first announced it, I was like, I held it for a little bit, just a little bit, because I was like, you know. But, and I've talked about this in my other BetterPress videos, I've always wanted like an actual letterpress. And then I looked into it, and like, you know, like the antique letterpress machines, they're like, it would take up a big chunk of my garage. We're looking like well into the 5 figures for one of those things. And I'm not a billionaire. I can't afford to buy an expensive antique. Plus, we don't have space for it. So this was a great compromise, in my opinion. So I was super excited about it. But to each their own. You don't need to have all the things. I got it because I think it's fun. And I just need to make a habit of using it more often. So, yeah. Let's add foam tape to these pieces. Okay. And yes, I saw a comment about that. With the card giveaway, make sure you guys get your names and address later after. So I'm going to leave, for those watching on replay, I am going to leave the document below. Maybe I'll leave it for like a day. I will choose another name, because with these butterflies that I did, I'll do a third card. I'm not going to do it during the live today, because I need time. But for those watching on the replay, I will draw another name probably tomorrow, so Monday evening or something, and I'll mail out that card to somebody, because why not? Why not? You know? Why not? It's fun. I like sending you guys cards. Okay, let's get this guy lined up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we did that one. And then, well, again, I can't believe you're not a billionaire. What, man? Like, I wouldn't even know how to get to that. I don't.
They say that the first one's hardest to get.
Yeah, the first billion is the hardest to get. I'm working towards it. It's going to take me about 1 billion years to get to. Man.
I'd be happy just to be comfortable.
I know, same. Like, I don't need to be rich,
No.
But if we didn't have to worry about money, man, I couldn't even imagine. Anyway. Yeah. Yep. We'll add a little bit of bling.
At some point, it's just too much.
I know, right? Like I've said in other videos when we talk about like money and power, like, I wouldn't mind having more money. I'm okay with that. Power, I don't know. I don't want to be in charge of nothing. No, thank you. And in my opinion, those that have a lot of money, they do have a lot of the power, and they're not using it the way they should, in my opinion. So anyway, that's a whole other rant. Blark. Bling. Well, a little bit of bling. So we're going to do the Starshine embellishment. Just clear, shimmery confetti dudes. We're just going to add a few of those. Because we can. So just tuck a few of those onto there. Stick one over here. Like that. Yeah. Just a few. Just because we can. So, and while I'm doing that, the unpaid intern, whoops.
Oh, I heard my name.
You heard your name. It's time to get to work.
This doesn't work.
Yeah, well, you can get to work by picking a couple winners for the cards. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So, we're gonna add a little bit of glue in there. Just a smidge. Like that. And a couple over here. Like that. There we go. Question. Is a Canson XL watercolor paper white or an off-white? It's an off-white. Most watercolor paper is off-white. Because generally, to get it actually like white, they usually it involves bleaching, which when it comes to art and watercolor, having those bleaching chemicals in the paper can affect things down the road. So yeah, most watercolor paper is not white, and that's fine. But there are a few. The Spellbinders. I have to look at it now. This is the Spellbinders. This is the Porcelain. Is that what it's called? Which I think is currently sold out because the stuff's hard to. Yeah, this is the Porcelain. This is pretty white. It's again, it is hard to tell on camera. That's Canson. That's Spellbinders, and it's very subtle, the difference. But yeah, Ranger's watercolor paper, like the distress watercolor paper, is very, very white. It's not cotton. It's paper pulp. And I like it. It would work okay with this, and because it's a distress watercolor paper, it obviously works very, very well with distress products. So that's usually when I use the Ranger watercolor paper because they're meant to work together. But I don't get hung up too much on how white the paper is because I find more often than not, by the time everything's said and done, it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I use my Canson.
You have some
I'm surprised no splatter. I know. I thought about it. I know. I didn't do it. Here, wait. I have my split screen now. Can I do it? Oh, I'm like a freaking genius. Look at me. This is what broke everything else, though.
All right.
Yeah.
Winners.
Okay, we got winners.
Debbie W. from Deer Park, Texas.
Debbie in Texas.
And Susan B. from Kansas City.
And Susan B. in Kansas City. Congratulations. I will hopefully get these mailed out this week. I make no promises.
I think that's Missouri.
Kansas City's in Missouri. Yes. Yep. So, hooray. But those watching on the replay and those watching right now, I will draw another one probably tomorrow night, and I'll probably just announce it in the blog post for this, and I'll finish the card using the butterflies. It'll probably be fairly clean and simple. So, yeah, I plan on doing that. So there'll be another winner. And I'll just I'll keep the document because I always delete it after the lives. So for those watching the replay, if you're watching soon enough, if that document's there, it's in the description box below. Yeah, and like always, because I'll delete it once I've chosen that third winner, once I actually make that card. But I don't save that info, like people's names and addresses and things like that. We get the winner, I mail out the card, I delete all those. We don't save it, sell it, share it, nothing like that. I take that seriously. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my cards. It wasn't too bad.
They're awesome cards, though.
Oh, thank you. It was fun, and now I have an absolute disaster to clean up.
Yep.
Fun times. But yeah. Oh, here.
I'm gonna sneak in somehow.
There we
Hello.
go. There we go. And then yeah, there's the. I got to get used to. I want to like go off to the side for the split screen. It's like, oh, it's over here. No, it's the camera's right here, man. So yeah, there's the. So yeah, side by side. For the most part, this one is the Spellbinders cotton BetterPress paper, which yeah, it's hard to tell, but in real life, you can feel the difference. But this one is the Canson XL paper. Very similar, you know. Spellbinders is superior. It is very good, very nice watercolor paper, but not surprising because it is. It's 100% cotton. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. So there's my little cards. Can I zoom in on this? Oh yeah. Look at me, my split screen wizardry.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm a genius. I only broke a few things in the process.
You even have a pretty purple back or.
You don't even want to know how long that background took me.
Really?
Oh God. Nothing was working.
Oh.
It was so annoying. It was a ridiculous amount of time, okay? Appreciate the split screen, everybody. It took me, I'm not even kidding, ages. It was so ridiculous. I was so frustrated. And then, yeah, finally got it to work. So, yay me. Everything is good. And I only broke like one thing in the process. Not as bad as it usually is.
Yeah, getting better.
We're getting there. Trying not to get too full of myself, though, because I'm sure there will be something. Because there usually is. It's chaos. So, yeah. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And my comments are going a little weird. There we go. Tuning in and hanging out with me. And yes, I'm a professional. I always say that, even though I do this professionally. I'm always being sarcastic though when I say that I am a professional because, yeah, yep.
We're all professionals at something.
Yeah, I'm a professional idiot is basically how it is.
I see you've read my job title.
Your job title, yeah. Like I said, man, this is for whatever reason, I don't know why it popped in my head, but the fact that you have to write your own like reviews.
My own performance review?
Yeah, your own performance reviews for work, which I just find hilarious. And I always tell them, I'm like, say you're amazing. You're killing it. You deserve like all the raises. Like, it's such a stupid thing in my opinion. Like, why write your own professional review? Anyway, he and I have a long-standing joke because one of our children thought they were very smart and was writing their own reviews. They were forging Chris's name.
Oh yeah.
Because in their planners, it used to be we were supposed to sign them every day, and like, yeah, I can't remember. It wasn't just the planner. It was we were supposed to like give critiques or something on their schoolwork. This was a few years ago, and yeah, the kid was like forging Chris's name and like it was like grat job, like GRAT, grat job. You're doing grat job, and it was like Chris, like oh whatever. And it was so funny. So now we're always like grat job. Yep. You're doing grat job. So anything to do with like reviews or our work or whatever, we're like, grat job. You're doing grat. Yep. You're doing great, sweetie. So yeah, I'm a professional, man. I'm doing grat. Yep. Grat. Anywho. Why do you have a bowl?
I had apples.
Oh, you had snacks. Healthy snacks.
Yeah.
Are we out of peanut M&Ms?
Yes.
I guess I need to pay the unpaid intern and get him some peanut M&Ms.
They're gonna have to wait till next week sometime when we make another trip down to the Costco.
Costco. Oh my gosh, you guys. We went, Chris and I, the stars aligned because we rarely even get to go together anymore because just, again, life is chaotic and someone has to watch the kids. They can't be in super live. Forging names is one thing, but they'd burn the house down. The stars aligned. Chris and I were able to go together, and we call it our Costco dates. And usually we'll get, food in the food court because it's cheap. And we're so looking forward to it. And it was the first time we got to go together in forever. And we show up, and there's like a lineup of people outside Costco, like in the middle of the day. And we're like,
and the parking lot was empty.
Yeah, and the parking lot was empty, and it was like apocalyptic. It was when we were like, what is this? The power had gone out.
Yeah.
Right before we showed up. So yeah, they shut down the whole Costco. We sat in the parking lot for just a little bit, and it's like, we don't have much time. Like, the clock is ticking. We need to get back to the kids, all this stuff. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
One time we both got to
Yep,
go out
the
together.
one time we both got to go, and I was looking forward to getting a Costco hot dog for $1.50. That's our dates.
Mm-hmm.
It's our $1.50 and the $7
chicken
strips and fries with Costco gravy. Yeah, didn't get that. Still sad. Anyway. Oh, yes. Do you love the Misty glue press? I have hand issues. Yes, I have. I have a review. Just go on my channel under the videos. It's 2-3 months ago. I did a dedicated review of it. Because I was using it behind the scenes for a few months because I'd purchased this right around when it was first released. It's been a year, a little over a year. And I used it behind the scenes for a good while because I wasn't sure. For me, I like it. I genuinely like it. I know some people have had issues with it. It kind of depends on where your hand issues are. I found because I was finding that using like my little, I've shown these in a million videos, these little bottles, I found that it was starting to get really, really difficult for me with not only this bottle, but like my bigger, like craft tacky bottle, the Simon one. I don't have one in front of me, but that one's bigger. But I was starting to notice like the pressure of squeezing these, no matter how I held it, I was starting to get like, it was really starting to aggravate my hands because my hands, I do have like kind of pre-arthritis because it runs in my family bad. And so I'm always very aware the minute I start feeling pain. It's like, nope, stop. That's why I don't use like color pencils anymore, things like that. And I was starting to notice like, because like I do this professionally. So the amount of card making I do, the amount of gluing I'm doing, I'm stacking die cuts and like I'm using glue all the time. And like my hands would ache. And I was like, I was going to have to, and it doesn't help too that I use craft tacky glue. That's what's linked below. It is one of the thickest glues on the market. So it's like, I could just use a thinner glue. That would help a lot. But I like my glue. And I'm particular about my glue. I have like 5+ different brands sitting here. I've tried the Barely Arts, all of it. They're all great glues. I like what I like, okay? So, this. For me, I find that this works great because I'm only squeezing right here. I hold it here, but I only squeeze right here. So I don't have any, but I have heard like some people, like if you have issues right in here, you might find it more difficult because I've heard that the people that have, again, it kind of depends. Like, Kathy Zilski had tried this and she found that it aggravated right in here for her. So again, I think it really depends on like the person, but I found for me, this has been a game changer. The only times I have struggles with it is, well, one, it clogs all the time. I talked about that in the review because if I put the lid on it every night, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But do I put the lids on these? No, I just use a pin. I don't care. But I find and this one I can't even show it because I did just refill it. I find it when it gets to about halfway full, I have to like start using a little bit more pressure. And so for me, I literally will like tap this down and I top it off. I put more glue in it and it's good to go. So yeah, hopefully that explained all the things. And yeah, it just depends on the person. is the sad thing. Like, for me, it works great, but not necessary for everyone. It depends too on the type of glue you use. I've heard like people really like the Barely Arts glue, and it's a bit bigger of a bottle because it's about like it's a little heftier. It's just and it's a bit thinner of a consistency than the Craft Tacky. I've heard great things about it. I do have it, and I bought refills for it. I don't know why. But yeah, I find that because it's thinner, I end up using way too much because I'm used to the Craft Tacky. So yeah. Um I think that's everything. We always spend a fortune at Costco and we only yeah, that's why I'm an executive member. My rebate check from Costco is generally quite hefty, but we have a large family and we need to buy everything in bulk. It's gross. Like we're at Costco technically a lot, just together not as often anymore. And the last time the power was out, so that was fun. Oh my goodness. But okay, I think oh, do we have those of you that already put your name and address in the form thingy, you're fine. You're good to go. Yeah. It's I'm just going to leave the Google form open and posted below until like probably tomorrow night roughly. We'll see. Chaos could erupt. But I'm going to leave it open for people to add their name and address um till I finish the third card, which I might get to it tonight. We'll see. But no matter what, I won't draw till tomorrow night. Like I'll give people some wiggle room, and yeah, it could be someone that's still watching live right now, or it could be someone on the replay. And then I'll figure out something down the road, maybe, and do a few more little card giveaways because I totally understand too um those that can't catch the lives because you might be international, you got to work, life. I get it. Um, so yeah, I'll figure out something because I make a lot of cards. I always get asked about that too. What do I do with all the cards I make? Because again, I do this professionally. I make a ton of cards. Some cards I send to some of the brands I work with because they use them for like display and marketing. I send a lot of cards to my Patreon supporters. My Patreon is linked below. I don't like advertise my Patreon really at all. This is the first time I've mentioned it in a while. It just is what it is. I send a lot of cards to those peoples because they support me and I love that. So I send a lot of cards to them, which I need to. This is the month I have that on my list to send out another batch of cards. So I do that, and then sometimes I like bundle them up. And I have a family member that owns a boutique, and there have been times where we sell them in the boutique. It just depends. So yeah, things like that. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think that was everything. Um, yes, I'm a professional. I'm very great at what I do. My goodness. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Even though the unpaid intern has left, but thanks to him, of course, for helping. It helps. I can do all the things, but it's nice having him hang out with me because for the most part he pays attention. He pays attention during the lives. He's not fully paying attention all the time, but he pays enough attention that um, he's able to help with the links and moderating the chat for me and stuff like that. So that is always appreciated because it just helps. Because you guys know I like to talk and I get distracted. I'm like the dog from Up. It's just constant like squirrel. Always. Always. So, yeah. You spoil us. You're always posting. I post a lot, but again, it's my job. And thanks to that's the last thing I think I'll touch on. Thanks to the wonders of the freaking algorithms when it comes to being a content creator. I joke about it, but it's also true, like the robot overlords. It is a constant battle with the algorithms, honestly. Yeah, when I talk about in my like pre-recorded videos and I say at the end always, thank you so much for taking the time because I genuinely appreciate every video and anyone taking the time to watch my content, whether it's live, pre-recorded, whatever. I appreciate it. And then the whole thumbs upping and commenting. Um, I don't say that to like the more people that thumbs up just makes me like more special or whatever. It literally is what helps trigger the algorithms, because the more people that are engaging, not just watching, but engaging in clicking a thumbs up, leaving a comment, it helps, like, it tells the stupid algorithms, like, oh, people like what they see. Maybe we'll, put it on the homepage for other people that are already subscribed. Because I've had people say that they're like, I've been subscribed to you. I haven't seen your videos pop up in months. And I'm like, and I say all this, even people that do engage, it's the algorithms. It's fun. It's so fun. Because, yeah, I am getting close to 100,000 subscribers. It's probably going to be years before I actually get to it and especially again in the last few months, it's just like tanked. Don't get very many new subscribers. I'm okay with that. But when you compare that to the actual amount of views I get, a fraction of the people actually subscribe to me actually watch my videos. That's just how it works. That's across the board with YouTube. So yeah, it's just a constant battle. And when you're doing this for a job, it sometimes is that's what I was talking about earlier when I'm like, Chris is my sounding board and just a listening ear when I'm like losing my mind over whatever other stupid tech stuff, software stuff's going on behind the scenes that is totally messing me over and making my job more difficult. It's generally more often than not the algorithms. So that's how it sort of works in a nutshell anyway. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. I will do the whole photos, blog post, etc., etc. That'll get done at some point today. And then I'll finish the third card also at some point, possibly maybe even right after this. It just depends. I usually need to take a little bit of a break after a live because while I enjoy them, it takes a lot of like energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to curl up in the fetal position for a while afterwards. It's like I need a nap, man. So, anywho, I appreciate you guys. Oh, there's one more that I'll get to. I'm a newer content creator. How long did it take? How long did it take you to get to your first 1,000? I don't know. When I started way back, run to the kids, like back in the olden times, when I started posting videos, that was back in 2008, 2009. I started my YouTube channel in like 2008. I can't remember if I posted my first videos in 2008 or if it was 2009. Anyway, it was a long time ago. It was different back then. Like I started YouTube very soon after they started the partner program. And the criteria back then was different than it is now. But I think that was one of the criteria was to get to 1,000 subscribers. And I don't honestly remember. It's probably documented somewhere because I remember like celebrating it because that's a big deal. My first 100, huge milestone. First 1,000, massive milestone. I couldn't tell you how long it took. And now I think that it's so different. It can take a while.
If you do something worth noticing, people will notice.
Yes. I will always stand by this. I think there's room for everyone. Whatever genre you're into, but like since card making is my thing, specifically card making, there's space for everyone. And YouTube is free. Starting up a YouTube account, it's free. You can do it with your phone, which most people already have. You don't need all the bells and whistles. Do not invest in the bells and whistles if you've got that bank, all the power to you, honey. But start with what you've got and work on it from there. And sometimes it's surprising. Sometimes it can take an unbelievably long amount of time, or something can just take off and go sort of viral. It just depends, but it just depends on all the things. And the other advice I give, do not quit your day job. If you've got a real job especially if you've got health benefits and a pension, do not quit your job. Do not quit, especially to do card making. However, you never know. You know, do it on the side, do it for fun, and you maybe will get to that point where you have to choose, you know, which one you want to go with, and that's great. But yeah, it's volatile. A lot of things are out of our control. The algorithms are an absolute pain, and I'm not saying this to discourage anyone. It's just a fact. And then lately, and other makers have talked about this as well, we have had absolute nightmare issues going on behind the scenes for the last couple months with our affiliate links, which is a big chunk, if not most, of our income. Oh.
We shan't talk about that.
Nope,
now.
because Amy, you'll start seeing the smoke come out of my ears. I don't even when I say things have been chaotic behind the scenes, I've mentioned it many times and how stressed out I've been. I don't even have words for how stressed out I've been because it's been bad. We're starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, it's nuts.
It's been a rough 6-ish weeks kind of thing. That's sort of when we started noticing it.
No, it was a couple months ago.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
when things started to get broken, and it's just been pure, absolute frustrating crap. But, card making is
Therapy.
It is therapy. Like, it's a good hobby. It's still therapy in a sense, even though I do it as a job. So it's the other elements that stress me the heck out, like the affiliate garbage and just other stupid crap, and my tech when it breaks. But the actual act of being like creative, love it. And those that, yeah, if you want to do videos, do it. You know, you learn as you go. I get people reach out to me quite often, and I don't really have any like secret tips or tricks. It's legit, like, you learn as you go. You start to figure it out. When I started, again, little pink Canon point and shoot camera. I didn't even have a video editor program. I had some stupid thing. I had a Dell desktop.
Windows Movie Maker, maybe?
It wasn't even Windows Movie Maker. It was like, it was something stupid. And the only thing I was able to do with it was I could trim off like the beginning and the end. I couldn't actually edit. And I've talked about this. If you go back on my YouTube channel to my very first video is me using this little punch. It was a corner rounder punch, and I took the guides off of it to make a scalloped edge. And I don't say a word in the video. It's only like a minute long. I was like holding my breath the whole time because I didn't want anyone to hear my voice because I still had issues with that. I needed like complete silence, and I was like trying not to throw up in the video. It was awful, awful. But I wanted to do it because I'd been blogging for I don't know how long at that point. I've been blogging for almost 18 years. I don't even remember. It's been a long time. And people kept asking questions about certain things, and I was like trying to explain it in words. And it's like, if I could just show you how to do it. And I was like, well, I can do YouTube. So I did. So my first videos, not the greatest, but I leave them up. I don't care. So yeah, you figure it out. And I did. I started figuring it out and started doing it more. And then I forget at what point, because again, it's been a long time. It's been over 15 years since I started doing videos. So that's a lot. And I've done like a couple thousand videos, more than 2,000, close to 3,000. It's a lot. It's all a blur. But you get to different stages. And I was like, oh, I want better lighting. I want a better editing experience. So I got my first Mac. I don't even know when. It's been over a decade. Well over a decade. I forget. But I got my first Mac, so I could use iMovie. That was like a game changer. Like, the stars aligned, the angels were singing, because Macs are, and saying that you don't need all the things. You don't. But yeah. Hopefully that helps a bit. It takes a while. Paul and I put a chunk into this room, started videos, and then got rude comments. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of the best way to, without being a complete a-hole. Trolls. Putting yourself out there on the internet. Yeah. But it does not mean you deserve it, because nobody does. That man, nothing makes me angrier than someone saying like, well, you put yourself out there. Like, you put the content out there as if like we deserve it. It's the same thing. And I've said this, it's the same as like, what were you wearing? Don't, I don't play that game. Again, card making specifically, most positive niche on the internet. But there are still people that are complete and total miserable a-holes. Like, they just are. People who leave troll comments, rude comments, are miserable. Because you can't be a cheerful, positive person and be like, meh, So the biggest thing I can say to those, like, because it sucks, especially when you're starting out or you're a smaller creator, things like that. Um, the biggest piece of advice regarding negative comments is to remind yourself that it's not about you, no matter what they're saying, because people will find some of the most ridiculous crap to say, whether it's about what you've made or your voice or how you look or, just really pointless crap. It has nothing to do with you. It is a direct reflection of them. And feel free, especially when you're smaller, feel free to totally like delete and block. I do it depending on what it is. I will delete and block, especially if it's nasty. It does not happen very often. I also have a reputation though. I will clap back. I will clap back, and I've done it many times. I will also, and I don't care what anybody says, I will take screenshots and I will post those screenshots publicly with your username, because I don't care. If you want to go and if you want to come into my house, which is my social media, my YouTube channel, my Facebook, like my social media, you want to come into my house and act like a donkey, I will expose it, because I don't care. Because you wouldn't do that in real life, but people will do it with their real usernames. And dude, I can usually find people in minutes. It is the internet. So even when you're being anonymous, it's not that difficult. Like, that blows my mind. So I'll post screenshots and I'll call them out, because I will not tolerate that kind of crap. And I'm also saying this because it is June. And that's usually when I get people coming out of the woodwork to get nasty over certain cards that I like to post and the fact that I'm inclusive and all that. And I'm saying it now, even though most of them aren't going to hear it. But yeah, just try me. Honestly, try me. I will screenshot and I'll expose, because I don't care. And I will block. And those that have followed me long enough know I have a blacklist. I do. And I take down names. And we check them. When I do giveaways, whether it is a sponsored giveaway, like because I do blog hops, etc., with different brands, with releases, when I'm doing giveaways, if your name is on my blacklist, you will never win a giveaway from me. I will make sure of it. I will go out of my way, because I'm that petty. Because it's like, if you have been hateful, trolling, yada, 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 because I've literally had that happen so many times over the years, I had to start the blacklist. Because people will come on and say nasty things, and then I do a giveaway, and they're like, oh, you're amazing, I love you. And I'm like, what? And then I go and check, because I've got screenshots. I have a spreadsheet. Dude, I'm petty. I keep it all. I have folders of this. There's not a ton, thankfully. It's a select few. But I've had people do it over the years, so I have a blacklist. And if you end up on the blacklist, good luck getting off of it, because I've had people try to get off the blacklist too. And I really don't appreciate getting an apology on a giveaway. So yeah, it's a little bit bonkers in some ways, but no matter what, it's never justified, ever. Like, there's a huge difference between constructive feedback. Like, say you're a new maker and you're doing your little video and people leave comments like, I really wish I could see it better, like something's in the way, or the lighting isn't very good, or say the microphone's not very good, like those sorts of things. And it's constructive feedback. People, like your content, but they're having a hard time hearing, or they're having a hard time seeing, things like that. It's like you take that constructive feedback and you build on it. so you can maybe move a light or make sure your microphone's closer, things like that. That's totally fine. Completely. That is constructive feedback. It's not constructive criticism, it's feedback. There's a huge difference between that and your card is ugly. The sound of your voice, it just gives me like a migraine. Or I don't know, I'm trying to make up stupid things that people say because people say really stupid things. They do. Like really stupid, pointless things. If you don't like it, there's this magical thing. It's magical. And you take your finger and you go click out and you watch something else. It's novel, no one's forcing you. Like the thing too with me starting when I started to do lives and I have people coming out of the woodwork complaining and some of it was horrendous. Some of the stuff that was said was horrendous about doing lives. And I'm just like, no one's forcing you. Like they're not you don't have to watch. You don't have to participate. If it's not your thing, don't just don't. In my case, I post a ton of other content. The lives, we just do our Sunday lives, and then the little random ones I do here and there. But you don't got to do it. If you don't like shorts, reels, TikTok, whatever, don't consume it. Shocking. I know. Life has changed. So, yeah. It just... Oh, that's funny. Sorry, I was a total ass, but I want your free stuff. I literally have that. And it's one of the first screenshots of someone that ended up on the blacklist. I've told this story before, but it's someone who, they weren't just a troll. They had actually won a previous giveaway from me. And then they went completely feral. And it was feral because they were accusing me of lying to my audience. Like it turned into the most insane situation I've ever been in. And like they were accusing me of lying. They were attacking my integrity, all these things over a giveaway of gift cards I had done. And the whole thing was completely made up by this person. It was the most insane thing. And I was like, what on earth are you talking? Like, I have literally all the proof in front of me. Like, this is what you won. Here's your gift card, like a significant amount, like all the things. All you have to do is redeem it. Like, what, And after I called them out on it, and proved that the whole thing they made up and all the lies they were posting, like because they were posting it on my blog at the time, all these things, they went silent. And then my next giveaway was a big giveaway. And the apologies. I'm so sorry. I would really love to win this. I'm so sorry for what I said. And I'm like, this is when you choose to apologize? Yeah, no. That's when the blacklist started. And that was quite a few years ago. So, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. So, I've got comments about my weight words. Yeah, anytime people comment on looks, because this is something I deal with my children, as they grow. And because it is life, people are jerks. And where do children learn how to be jerks from, So that to me is always the lowest form of bullying and everything is when you attack someone's looks, how their voice sounds. It's like, I was like, you're really just scraping the bottom of the barrel there, to be insulting, to troll, to whatever your reasoning is. But always, that is a direct reflection on the person being the bully, the person being the troll. Because it's like, if you feel the need to attack someone based on how they look, seriously, yeah, I just... some people suck so much, and especially things like that. And I've known people personally when you're on certain medications, you're going, because that's just it. You don't know. I'm like, this live is gonna be so long. I don't care. You don't know what someone else is going through, because certain medications, certain life events, all sorts of things can so drastically affect how a person looks, and you don't know what's going on with them. And to say those sorts of things to a person, it's like you literally don't know what they're going through or what they're battling or what their, insecurities are, et cetera, et cetera. I have a thick skin at this point just because of life. But that doesn't mean that I'm okay with any of that when people do say things about all of that. And that's why I expose them and take screenshots. Because it's like, I would rather me do it and go to bat and expose people and deal with the drama than other people having to deal with it. Because it's ridiculous sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. You'd think the idiots would get it. Yeah, you'd think people would get it. But that's also part of it. Like my way I deal with things rubs people the wrong way. And I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to put up with it. I am not going to cater to miserable people, you know? And even if you're miserable for whatever reasons, because some of us are, sometimes I am miserable. Like, sometimes I'm going through it, man. And I'm stressed out and I'm tired and I'm hangry and I'm literally miserable. You know, we go through it. Sometimes it's full on depression. I deal with it. It sucks so much. But even when I'm like going through it and I don't even want to get out of bed, you know, any of those sorts of things, the last thing on my mind is to like go on YouTube and start attacking people to make myself feel better. Because it's kind of the worst thing you can do, you know? But a lot of people are like that, and it's sad. It's really sad. And I get it. I do get it. If you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. That one, honestly, and I've talked about this. I kept saying like this will be my last bit, but you guys got me going, and I feel like chatting. Whatever. I prefer the Tim Holtz version of that, and his is if you don't have anything kind to say, find something kind to say. Because it puts the onus back on the person who's trying to be miserable. And rather than not say anything at all, it's like maybe sit with yourself for a minute and find something nice to say. You know? I think that it's more to, yeah, put the onus back on the miserable person. And on top of it, you never know, again, what someone's going through. You don't. Like, even at times, it's like you see a pre-recorded video and someone makes a beautiful card and all the things. You have no idea what they're going through. And you could just leave a really just kind comment, you know? You might not even fully like what they did or whatever, but you watched the video. So it's like, leave them a thumbs up and leave a nice little comment. You never know. That could be something that just makes their entire day. I always try to read all the comments I get. I try to respond as often as I possibly can. In my case, it's not that I'm like super popular and amazing, that I get so much I can't deal with it. I'm fighting a lot of times with the freaking algorithms, especially on Instagram. I swear that app hates me. Blech. So that's my issue. It's like it's hard sometimes to see things when people are commenting all the time, but I like how YouTube has that option where I can heart comments from people, because then you know I've seen it. That's my way of saying I saw your comment and I read it. You know, I heart it, and then if I can respond, I'll respond, etc. I can't even tell you guys the amount of times that someone will leave me a comment, and like there have been times I've literally been in tears, not sad tears, but like happy tears. It just was like I was having the worst day or the worst week or the worst month or whatever, and someone just left just a random passive little comment, and it just like hit me, you know, and it meant a lot. So I'm not kidding when I say I appreciate it at the end of all my videos. You know, I appreciate it time, because I really do. Especially nowadays, you know, where we have like 5 million things going on, and we've got our phones and our iPads and our computers and our TVs and just like constant noise going 24/7. I appreciate it that people will tune into me yapping like a crazy person, and comment and leave a thumbs up. I do. I appreciate it. So yeah. And yes, Shawna, like the content is free. and you're not being forced to watch it. So if it's not your maker, because not everyone likes different things. That's also the beauty of not just card making. It's content in general. You know, you think of there's a bajillion content makers out there. And there's just not everything is for everyone. And even silly little things like someone's voice. It's like if you don't like their voice, don't watch their content. Or if you like what they're making, but their voice just annoys you, listen to it on mute then, whatever. In that case, though, if you're listening to videos on mute, please do not ask questions about things unless you've actually then gone back and listened to it or checked the description box. Yeah. Yeah, that's just a pet peeve. But there's so much content out there, you know, and there's something for everyone. My personality isn't for everyone. My style isn't for everyone. I wouldn't want to be for everyone anyway, you know? There are so many genres and styles and things. That's why there is room for everybody in card making. Because you may not like BetterPress rainbow watercolor. You know, you like vintage Tim Holtz grunge, you know, that kind of stuff. There's a ton of makers out there that do that. You know, or you like this type of you know. So those are my thoughts. I appreciate you guys. And thank you, Ellen. Yes. I like to find something kind to say. I am a like major Tim Holtz fangirl, if it wasn't already majorly obvious over the years. And I really like his little, I call them Tim-isms. You know, because if you don't watch his videos when they're live, I highly recommend it. They are worth tuning in. This is specifically why I never chose the Saturday time, like Saturday afternoons. He doesn't go live every Saturday, but I'm no dummy. You know, if you're going to choose between me and Tim Holtz, I'm not even going to go live. I would not go live. I'm watching. I am seated. I am watching. I have my laptop open and I'm spending money. Because really, like, are you even a Tim Holtz fan if you're not filling your cart as he's live? Seriously, because anyway, I highly recommend when he does go live to watch during lives because he edits out the Tim talks, which are usually at the end of his videos. Because again, it's professional reasons, you know, it's for the brands, his videos, etc. So he edits those out usually because he goes live on Saturdays and it's usually on Monday that he will edit those out. And so a lot of people miss out on that. I highly recommend watching when he's live because he has many nuggets of just wisdom, his little Tim-isms, you know, the things he says, like, don't have anything kind to say, find something kind to say. Sometimes, you know, when Captain Obvious jumps out, that's another reason why I'm a fan of Tim, because I was like, he's saying what I'm already thinking. And when a Captain Obvious pops out, it's like me and like I'll be commenting with Mario, you know, and I'm just like, or Sassy Tim, as I like to call it, because sometimes he'll get a little spicy. Love it. Because sometimes people need that. Just to be told like it is, you know? So, yeah. One of my favorite things to do, buy Tim stuff. Oh, I know. I have an order coming this week. I ordered the Ideology, the latest release, again. I do actually have some plans for it. We'll see. I collect it. I have a huge bin of it right over there. Do you guys see me use Ideology stuff? Hardly ever, but oh, I have a collection. It's beautiful. I love it. Sometimes I go through it and pet it. That's also where I found, because I had this in there. People that keep asking about that. You can see it in some of my videos. Actually, you can see it better here. This bracelet is a Tim Holtz Ideology from my friend Christy. She had given this to me last year, but yeah, it's a Tim Holtz bracelet. I had it with my Ideology stuff for whatever reason. I was like, wait a minute, that's like, you wear it. You wear it on your wrist, huh? You know, so I started wearing it. So I love it. I love it. Tim Holtz fangirl, man. So yeah. Tim's one of the most genuine people. Oh yeah, he's like so genuine and so legit, and he doesn't take people's crap. You know, so it's always a good thing. Alrighty. I think I appreciate you guys. Unfortunately, instead of working on themselves, they take it out on others. Oh yeah, that's the story of my life. Not specifically my life, but therapy, people. Even though it's hard to access, but like everybody needs it. They really do. Everyone needs therapy in some way, shape, or form. And I wish it was like, I wish I could just hand out therapy. Just, you get therapy, and you get therapy, and you get therapy. We all get therapy. We all need it. Seriously. So, yeah, it's just is. And I do hope that, um, people at least take my little ramblings when it comes to newer or just smaller makers. Um, just try not to take any of the negativity to heart. Um, because yeah, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You putting yourself out there doesn't mean you deserve it. And it is not about you. It's not about what you're making or how you're making it or whatever. It is about that person. Just the miserableness of it all. And it makes me really, really sad. And that's another reason why I get so vocal and why I'm still sitting here talking about it. Um, because there have been times over the years where I have seen some creators that have left this space specifically because, card making, and they quit posting content because of the negativity. It started to weigh them down and it got to them, and I don't blame them, Um, and it makes me angry. Like it makes me angry because how dare miserable people, win in that sense. And so I'll keep railing against it, you know? I'll keep being petty and screenshotting it and calling them out and drawing attention to myself in that sense with the drama I create. I've had other people make comments about that, and I don't care what they think. That when I do a Facebook Live from my phone and I'm calling out the BS and everything. I've had other makers that have said that that I just like to stir the pot and cause drama, and I'm like, no. If that's how you see it, great. I don't care. But I would rather stir the pot and cause drama if it draws the grouchy people towards me and away from the others. It's like, sure, I can deal with it. I can deal with it because, again, I'm petty. I am queen of petty university. So I will literally, yeah, I'll expose it. I don't care. So, yeah, it's me, JD. Yeah, she was one of them. And that made me really, really angry because she was a great maker. She kind of bust onto the scene and she was doing good things. And yeah, that's what I had heard is that the haters it got to be too much and she quit doing it. And that makes me really freaking sad. A lot of people are missing out on some really great content and really great personalities and inspiration and things like that because some people like being freaking donkeys. And a part of me wishes I could have done more. I can't be the gatekeeper of card making in that sense of, me and my big stick. But sometimes I wish I could be because it makes me mad. It makes me so mad. Ah. So, anywho, I appreciate you guys. And this was a good little chat. I hope, is there a gold ink to use with the BetterPress? Any gold metallic ink will work. Did I show gold ink? I can't remember if I've ever shown it. I know other makers have done it with gold ink. It works. Pretty much any gold metallic ink will work. You would just have to test it because certain metallic inks are just not as pigmented in a sense, if that makes sense. But if you want gold, specifically with BetterPress plates, that's where you use the hot foil. Because BetterPress plates, I was gonna do that today, but all right, look at this. I'm yapping about other stuff. We're going on forever. I was gonna pull out my hot foiling, but I wasn't in the mood. And it's over there underneath like a stack of things. I'm not organized, man. I kind of sit in front of it so you guys can't fully see the mess behind me. But yeah, BetterPress plates, hot foil. Oh, so well. So well. And it's amazing. Like, I need to do it more often. I will hopefully pull mine out more often. I had one hateful comment in 2023 that my channel grew at 2K last week. Good for you. That's awesome. And I had 5 nasty comments. Oh, some people are miserable. Okay. Hopefully this will be the end, you guys. I got other things I need to do. I have found, and it's not comments, it's always anytime I pass a milestone. If it's on like my Facebook page or my YouTube, those when you hit a milestone, regardless of what it is, it's been a while since I've like hit a milestone. They happen. But anytime I would like, I remember the last one. It was on my Facebook page, and I was celebrating. I think it's when because we're getting close to 20K on there. I will celebrate and have a giveaway when that happens because that's a big milestone. But I remember whatever milestone I passed. Let's say it was 15K. That was a big one. Anytime. If I post like very soon after it happens, because if I happen to catch it and it's like, oh my gosh, like I just passed this number, like milestone, hooray. I kid you not, multiple people will immediately stop following or unsubscribe. Every time it happens. So now I just wait a little longer. Just to try and thwart the little haters. Because it's like, really? You were just, waiting for that milestone just so you could be like, unsubscribe or unfollow. Like, why? Okay. It's so silly. It's so silly. Okay. Can you use any ink pads for the BetterPress plates? I don't want to buy another. When you get the BetterPress system, it comes with the black. So you're set right there. And like these are unique. But yeah, you can use other inks. I showed that earlier on the insides of these. I used which I linked to. Where did it go? Where is it? Hello. There it is. It was hiding. Okay. I used Altenew Fresh Dye inks. And what else have I shown? I think I've shown Oxide inks with these. Oxides work quite nicely. There's a bunch of different types of inks. You can kind of experiment with it. So yeah, these are, again, because it's Spellbinders and because they do the testing and all the things, they've done all the work and the formulating and all the black magic wizardry behind the scenes to get, like, if you want the bestest results, you use the Spellbinders paper, the Spellbinders ink, yada yada yada. But as I showed, I used Canson XL watercolor paper, very similar results. I use other inks, very beautiful results. Like, you can play with it, you know. There are no hard and fast rules. The only thing is, and it doesn't necessarily specifically apply to the BetterPress, but with crafting in general, when something is recommended, like you use this product A with product B with this tool. If you didn't do those things, but you wanted that specific result, but it's like, oh, I used product Z with a completely different tool, completely different paper, like whatever it is. And I didn't get like that result. Like, why? That's why. Because that's what's recommended. Like, this was recommended for a reason. But if you use other paper, other ink, other whatever, and the results are great and you're happy with it, and that's all that matters. No one's going to come banging down your door and being like, you didn't use the Spellbinders ink. Like, it's crafting. That's the only time when people are like, I didn't get the same results. I'm like, because you didn't use the same stuff. Like, there's a lot of wiggle room in crafting, So yeah, you can use so many different things. So yeah. Didn't I see you do hot foiling with them before? I think I have. I'm pretty sure. I'm positive. I think I've done some hot foiling. You guys, again, I've posted so many videos. And I thought I did more BetterPress videos. I have a link below to the playlist. I thought I had more. And I was like, dude, Where are all the videos? They're all in my head, I guess. They just haven't been removed onto paper. So hopefully, I keep promising. Because I also have some Altenew. That was the last live I did, not like the last live, but the last BetterPress live I did, I was using Altenew press plates. And I have some other ones. And there's more coming, I think. I can't even remember, you guys. But like Altenew has some press plates. They're lovely. I know Pink Fresh has released BetterPress plates. Those are very lovely too. And are there other brands that have done press plates? I can't remember. But yeah, there's lots. And yeah, they hot foil. You cannot use hot foil plates in the BetterPress because hot foil plates are thicker and you can actually wreck your BetterPress system. Like the actual, this dude. You don't want to put hot foil plates. And like I said earlier in this live, I would not recommend using wafer dyes in this at all. Because you can wreck stuff. It's not recommended. And I won't. I only use BetterPress plates. But you can use BetterPress plates in a hot foil system. There is something about, I don't know what it is, the way these are made, that they hot foil like a dream. So, yeah. And I think I've done it. It's love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. Last week behind you, there was two. You guys can't see them. They're the color cubes. They're by Sarah Renee Clark. I think that's her name. Yeah, color cubes. Just Google color cubes. I think her full name is Sarah Renee Clark. That's who we all have like ordered them from. I guess apparently some people said she has an affiliate program. I have no idea. I'm not affiliated. I bought them because they're pretty. But yeah, they're great. Do you need them? There's a million color combo options online. You can just use Google, Pinterest too. I'm never on Pinterest. But you can even just Google, that sort of a thing. But the color cubes are just nice because it's a tactical, like in your hands thing, which is nice. And that's why I got them, because I like that. But in terms of like color combos, Google is your friend. It's insane how much is available now. So, okay. Yeah, Sarah Renee Clark, pretty sure that's her name. She does like art videos and stuff, and she seems like a really nice person. And yeah, she's the one who did the color cubes, and they're a great resource. So I don't regret getting them. I use them more for display only. Whatever. So, okay, I'm definitely starting to like, my eyes are feeling like heavy, and my voice is starting to feel, because I've talked for a very long time. This is a very long live. I made up for the last two short ones. Yeah. So anyway, like I always say, I appreciate you guys. Those that have stuck by and listened to me just yap. And I will have videos coming. I'll do the blog post, like I said, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, just stay tuned. Stay tuned. I have tons of content coming, as always, because it's what we got to do. So I will see you guys later.